Agents, you have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Open, Chicago with the lead. Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Under it, and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5, touchdown Bears!
It's one goal achieved. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this hump day edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Don't tell me. Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, okay? Click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Why don't you go to the show's page? Do us a favor, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. We have a page for our show. Say that 5 times real fast. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. We have our own Facebook page. Go there, like that page as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, listen. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it, okay? That'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. If you're watching us on our mobile app, I like that kind of party, baby. Yes. But wait, you didn't know? Guys, Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own app. We have our own mobile app. So listen, you can download us. So wherever you go, you can take us with you on a go. So wherever you get your apps from, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy's, Venture, Woolworth, wherever you get them from, you go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. Not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are like here in YouTube, but guess what? We give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. And if you watch this on our Roku channel, yay! Now listen, I like that kind of party, baby. You didn't know? If you didn't know, you better ask somebody. Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? So listen, if you have a Roku device in the house, do us a solid. All right, do us the solid. All right. Download Sports Zone Chicago's tile to your TV. Okay? You see it, you can do it just like that. You're like that. You can do it. You're like that. All right, download Sports Zone Chicago's tile, put it right between Prime, Amazon Prime, HBO Max. And actually, HBO Max just dropped their. I saw a meme that was hilarious. It said HBO Max dropped the HBO. So now it's just Max. And then it said, Peacock, you're up next. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, just like you downloaded Stars, just like you downloaded Amazon, Paramount Plus, you can download Sports Zone Chicago, put it smack dab in the middle of all of them. Because like right now, this very moment, we are live on our Roku channel. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at The Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram because you're an IGer and you do it just for the gram, well, just follow her at Maya. It's MAYA_AKAI. Listen, we have a phenomenal show, but we need you to get interactive. So listen, whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our mobile app, you kind of really can't get involved in it on get interactive on our Roku channel, but that's okay. That's okay. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. Listen, go there on the other 3 platforms. Okay, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here. We'll get it up on the screen, and we'll incorporate it into the show. And that's what makes this Chicagoland's best morning sports talk show is you. Okay, bring it all. We don't want you to hold back. Bring all the smoke. We want all that smoke. Okay, so give us your questions, your comments, your smart ass remarks. We'll put them up there. We'll talk about them. You know, I don't hide or run from anyone's questions, unless from Junior, because it might be just pretty silly. But that's another story. I love you, bro. I'm just playing with you, bro. Just playing with you. Man, the chat line is getting busy already. Let's see who we got here. Cornelius Squalls. What up, baby? How you doing? Junior. What's T15? I don't know what that means. All right, my man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. He's watching along with Patty Lara. If that's the case, that means there must be 2 other guests. Armando Emeterio Lara the 4th and Jeremiah, the grandkids. They're watching them. We're watching us as well. Jeremiah and Dito, good morning. Thank you for watching. Same to you, Junior and Patty. Levette Lee in the house. Good morning, Ma. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Michelle Walls, happy hump day, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know some things. And this, I can tell you that the cast of the usual suspects will be tuning in as the show goes on. That I can guarantee. I can't guarantee a lot in life. All right, but I can guarantee you more of the usual suspects will be checking in throughout the show. We might even get a drop in from our guy, Berlissimo, from across the pond. Woo-wee, that'd be dope. But that's what's going to happen. All right, we have guys, people are going to check in. Everyone's getting settled in. Yeah. Good stuff. But listen, we have a phenomenal show. Okay. 10 o'clock, my man Eugene McIntosh from the Bigs. I am excited to talk to him. We're talking NBA Finals, Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight from the 305. Okay? Live tonight, 7:30. Channel 7. We're going to talk to my man Eugene. Eugene played basketball in high school. I don't know. He didn't play in college. He played baseball in college. But Eugene's one of those guys that I could talk all sports with. All right. And that's what I really, really love, being able to talk multiple sports with people. We're going to talk the NBA Finals. Maybe we get into a little Cubs Sox with him because he's a Cub fan. He covers the Cubs. But is often at Sox Park. So Eugene McIntosh at 10 o'clock. Good stuff. And then 11 o'clock, Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago. He's a Bears draft analyst. He's going to join us. We're going to talk about what his thought is, his feel on this team after OTAs. And they're in their 3rd week of OTAs, voluntary OTAs this week. They go to mandatory next week. Are you excited about them? I am. And I want to see how excited, if he is, but I think he is, and how excited Glenn is about this upcoming season. As things go, as it gets closer and you just see more and more things, you understand the things that are being built up in Hallis Hall. All right. You understand the chemistry, the camaraderie. Okay. You're starting to see a team come together. You're starting to see a team gel. Here's what it is. And let me credit Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. last year, I think they did something that was really, really dope, and I think they need to do it again. And maybe it's after they make final cuts. Okay, that's fine. You want to wait till then? That's cool. But remember when they did some pretty cool stuff, and they took those guys. They took them to Wrigley. Do you remember that? Remember they took them to Wrigley Field? Took them to Wrigley Field. We're in the bowels of Wrigley Field, in the clubhouse and all the other stuff. Then they went and had batting practice. The Cubs were on the road, of course. And they're just bonding. All right, bonding. I want them to do that again. You know what I would love for them to do? And maybe they've thought of it. If not, listen, holla at your boy. I know how to have fun in my city. I know how to have fun in my city. One of the things I think they could do this year is July 1st. All right, get a whole bunch of guys and have them on the street, the race, the NASCAR race. Okay, maybe a couple days before, a day or two before, because it'll be ready at that point. And just have them kind of just drive through. You know, don't race, of course. You don't want them racing. But just kind of go through the track, the course. How cool would that be? Listen, how dope would that be? How dope would that be? You know, just say, don't go any more than 50 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour on that course. Obviously, we don't want you to get hurt. But I think that would be another pretty cool bonding thing. Remember, they went to Sears Tower. They still call it Sears. Went to Sears Tower. They went somewhere else, and then they ended up at Wrigley Field. I really, really like those things. Okay? For all you people who played sports, it doesn't have to be just football. But if you played sports and you were on a winning team, a championship team, you will definitely agree with me the importance of bonding, the importance of loving your teammates. Okay? You will agree. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If you agree, tell me you agree. But there's a special bond when you care about your teammates, when you care about your brothers. There's a special bond that you don't want to let them down. Great teams have that. Now there might be cliques. Okay? Everybody doesn't, it's not all one big group all the time. But there's definitely a level of love and respect that we have for each other when you're playing on a championship team. And I think the more things that the Bears do for their players, the more fun they're going to have. And you know what? Let's be honest. Don't you just playing is fun. If you had so much fun with your players, because I know football is regimented. Football, they're yelling at you. Football, they're getting in your ass. You missed this block. You missed that one. You missed their assignment here. I get it, Papa. I get it. But there's so much fun. You can have so much fun in the game. Have fun. Have fun with your players. Show them you're not just robots. Okay, you wanted high quality people. Well, show these high quality, high character people that you care about them more than just being a football player. Go have some fun with them. Welcome them to Chicago and say, hey, listen, this city has any and everything you need. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. But Cornelia says, more I look at the Bears depth chart, the more I get excited. And you should. As Bear fans should. You should. Armando, Sox are playing good. They're playing very well. 4 in a row. Okay. Junior's also excited about the NASCAR in the streets. I think that's dope. I think it's dope. I think it's dope. I think it's dope. What I would have liked, and I just don't know if they have the actual. I would have liked them to go on lower whacker. You know what? Now, how cool would that have been to have part of the race on lower whacker? But getting out to Lakeshore Drive and to Columbus, like you couldn't get there because the curves, the turns are too crazy. The turns are too crazy and too sharp, so you couldn't get it under low. Hey, but if Batman can do it, why the hell can't NASCAR? If Batman can go on lower whacker drive, damn it, why the hell can't NASCAR? I don't know. Anyway, guys, you know how we do. If Batman can do it, NASCAR should. Oh man, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Yeah, baby. Top of the morning to you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Now listen, the first top of the morning topic for today is this: the good guys. Yeah. I like it. I like it. I like it. Wait, where'd you go? Where'd you go? There you go. The good guys. What a big win over the Bronx Bombers. The White Sox beat the New York Yankees, the Evil Empire, 3-2 in the Bronx, in the Boogie Down Bronx. Lucas Giolito, he got the win. He's 5-4. He went 6 innings of no hit. Did you hear me? You heard me? No hit baseball. 3 walks, 7 punch outs. Xavier Zavala, he provided all of the offensive firepower for the White Sox yesterday, belting not 1, but 2 homers. His first one was in the 3rd. Barely cleared the fence in right field, but it's a short porch. What's like 311, 314, something like that. It's a short porch in right. And then the second one, no doubter. No doubter. No doubter. Whew. But a big win. Okay, the White Sox have now won 4 in a row. Have they turned the corner? I don't know. But you get 4 wins in a row. That's a hell of a start. That's a hell of a start of turning the corner. I'll tell you that much right there, Papa. Right now, the White Sox are 4.5 back. Thank God for the division that we're in, the horrendous division that we're in. We have one team that's over 500. That's Minnesota. One team. But you know what? We can't apologize for the division that we're in. We have nothing to do with Minnesota being 1 game over 500, Cleveland being 6 games under 500, Detroit being 7 games under 500. We're not going to apologize for it. We have no control over that. All we have control of is us. We're 8 games under 500 and 4.5 back. So we need to make sure that we keep winning. And let me tell you something. If meaning the White Sox, if the White Sox are able to get out of this game today, Lance Lynn is 4-6 with a 6.55 ERA. He's going up against Randy Vasquez. He's 0-1 with a 3.86 ERA. If the White Sox can win this one, Clevenger's on the bump tomorrow. There's a good chance the White Sox could sweep this series. Now, mind you, the Judge isn't playing. The Judge was day-to-day going into yesterday, and then after the loss yesterday, the Yankees placed him on the 10-day IL, so he will definitely miss the remainder of the series. But again, that's not our issue. That's not our issue. We've had plenty of people go on the IL. So There's the world's smallest violin for all you Yankee fans. Okay? Trust me. We understand what it's like to be without players because of injury. And it's happened to all of our good players. Hell, Giancarlo Stanton just got back off of injury for you guys. So you're feeling the bug now too. Hey, I'm not happy that your guy is injured. All I'm saying is that I'm glad it's not us right now. We're getting everybody back. People, there's only 9 slots, 9 positions, 9 batters. We got 11 guys, maybe 10, 11, maybe even 12 guys who could fit in this lineup on a consistent basis. So Pedro's got to do a juggling act. He's got a juggling act to do. All right, because there's some guys there's a lot of questions. We'll talk about those later in the 10:30 segment. Talk a little baseball. So a lot of people were mad Jake Berger wasn't in the lineup yesterday. People were really, really pissed. White Sox Twitter was explosive. They were livid. So we're going to talk more about that in the 10:30 segment. Look, I'm telling you what, I am fortunate to be able to do this. I'm telling you, Sports Zone Chicago is going to get a lot more is gaining traction. We're getting a lot more notoriety, and before you know it, we're going to blow up pretty freaking huge. And I'm excited. I love talking sports. I love talking sports with you guys. I love giving my perspective. I feel I have a very well-rounded perspective on sports due to my extensive playing career, my extensive coaching career. And I love talking sports. I've been doing it since I was a kid, since my first baseball team, the Red Sox at Harrison Park. All right, I was 5 years old, 6 years old. All right, and we talk sports. We talk, baseball, football. So I'm very fortunate, and I just love doing what you're doing. And the thing I love the support that I get from you guys. So we're making a lot of stuff. A lot of moves are going on at Sports Zone Chicago, and you'll see them in due time. In due time. But listen, we're going to take a quick break. All right. On the other side of the break, we're going to have more top of the morning topics. I didn't want to get into the next one because, I don't think the boss will get mad. I don't think the boss will get mad. But you know what? Let's just take a quick break. And then on the other side, we'll finish up. We'll have more top of the morning topics. All right. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Curveball. The 0-1. In the air, right-hand side. Calhoun going back toward the wall into that corner. And this ball just barely clears the fence for Seby Zavala's third home run.
And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh, boy. That ball is crushed to left field. And that ball is way gone. Seby Zavala, who hit his first 3 major league home runs in the same game, has bought in bulk at Yankee Stadium.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. That was Sebastian Seby for short. Seby Zavala providing all of the offensive firepower for the White Sox yesterday for the good guys in the Boogie Down Bronx. South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx. Big shout out to my guy Joe Foy from Holy Cross, one of my offensive linemen, big time New York Yankees fan. He's from the Bronx. Shout out to my girls Daniela, Christine, Tracy. Went to Fordham, which is in the Bronx. They were one of our rival schools. And shout out to my former quarterback George Sierra. And he reps the BX, for life. He lives here, but he's straight from the BX. Actually, his nickname, we called him BX. That was his nickname because he's New York Yankee. He's a straight New York Puerto Rican. Straight. And I say that with all the love and respect possible. He is a straight New York. He was one of the first guys because there weren't a lot of Puerto Ricans on the South Side. And back growing up, we heard the Puerto Rican Day of Parade was at Humboldt Park, and it was crazy and everything. So a lot of the Puerto Ricans wouldn't party and drive around on the South Side for the parade. They'd always be at Humboldt Park. But George didn't give a damn, dude. So I'd never really seen a lot of people driving around with flags. Okay. George, I met him in 2001. All right. And yeah, you talk about puro orgullo, pure pride in Boricua. Man, he had a was it an Escalade the first one? Yeah, I think he had an Escalade. And he had the flag, the Puerto Rican flag on the hood of his car. And he's just unapologetic about being a Puerto Rican. And I loved it. So big shout out to my quarterback, Sierra. Yes, we do actually have the same last name. And people thought we were brothers. Everybody thought we were brothers. Because we had the same last name. And I'm black and Mexican. So there's the Afro-Latino thing they're going. So people just thought we were brothers. But yeah, he's big shout out to those guys. But I digress. The next top of the morning topic. The Cubs. Cubs fall to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That was a rough one yesterday. They came back for a 7-4 victory. The Angels did. Wisniewski he got the start. He got a no decision, 4 2/3, 2 hits, 4 runs, 2 of them earned, 1 walk, 4 punch out. Matt Never Nervous Mervis, he was 1 for 4 with a double, his second of the year, driving in his 8th and 9th runs of the season. And Tuckman, he was 1 for 4 with a double. I'm sorry, with 2 RBIs, not a double. 2 RBIs, his 5th and 6th of the season. Nico Horner was also 2 for 5 for the Cubbies. Everything's talking about this Shohei Ohtani situation. Are the Cubs going to be players? Are they going to be real players or just tire kickers? You heard Bob Nightingale. We had him on the other day, last week, I should say. I want to say it was Friday. He talked about the Cubs probably being players, but he also talked about Shohei Ohtani probably staying on the West Coast. And it makes sense. It makes sense. There's a lot more Asian interaction over there on the West Coast, right? Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Taiwan. All right. They're a lot closer to that part of the world. So there are a lot of Japanese American citizens out west than there are here. So you talk about the marketing opportunities over there to promote him and the game, and from a financial, from a PR standpoint, a marketing standpoint, it makes sense for him to stay there. Another thing that Bob and I also talked about was like it's warmer. We'll show Ohtani want to pitch in Chicago at Wrigley Field in April, and it's 40 degrees. How effective will he be? Now, that would be a hell of a tease if the Angels were playing here and Cub fans got to see Shohei Ohtani firsthand here. That would have been nuts. That would be nuts. I don't think the Cubs are going to be players in it. It's difficult. I'm not saying he's not worth the $500 or $600 million that they're going to offer him. I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm saying, is it worth it? All right, is it worth it? Because with that $500, $600 million, you can get 5, 6, 7 players. You could probably feel the whole, not probably, you could feel the whole team. And even one with a superstar. Okay, at least a full starting lineup you could field easily with some of the reserves. And my question with that is, that I brought up to Bob, was what if he gets hurt? What if he gets hurt? If he gets hurt, now you lose a couple of players. You lose a couple of players. You lose a Cy Young candidate, a likely Cy Young candidate, and you also lose an MVP candidate at the plate. So there's a lot that could go wrong. So and just think, I heard a lot of conversation saying, well, if you lose him as a pitcher, you still got him as a bat. Well, what if he has to have Tommy John surgery? He can't throw, obviously. Can't throw from the outfield. He's not going to be able to hit. So you're going to lose him for an extended period of time. And for 500 or 600 million, whatever it is that he's going to command, you're losing 2 players for the price of 1. That is a blessing and a curse. I don't think the Cubs are going to be real players. I think they're going to go kick the tires, throw out a bullshit offer, like, all right, here's what we want, here's what we got. They'll respectfully decline it. We'll go about our merry way. I just don't know if someone's worth that. The production, yeah. But if he gets hurt, one of the one of the pitchers just got hurt. Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom is in an interesting scenario. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Jacob deGrom is out for the season. He has to have Tommy John surgery. Okay. Texas made a big splash for him. Okay, in the offseason. And Bob actually wrote, is it June 6th? Yeah, today. Bob Nightingale, who we just had on. They signed him to a 5-year, $185 million contract. And but here's the problem. He's had nagging injuries his whole career. What's the 30, 15, 30, $37 million a year. What? $37 million a year. And they just flushed $70 million, according to Bob. This is what Bob says. They just flushed $70 million down the toilet with the Tuesday announcement that deGrom will undergo surgery to repair a torn ulnar collateral ligament, which turned out to be a reconstructive Tommy John surgery. He'll be out a year. Okay, so a year puts him at June of 24. But are you going to bring him back in June of 24? No, you're going to bring him along slowly. He's going to have some rehab starts. You're going to work him in. So he's really gone all of 2024 and 2025. This means the Rangers will have paid Jason deGrom $30 million for his 2-0 record and 2.67 ERA, covering just 6 starts and 30 in the third innings this season, and $40 million next season while he recovers from surgery. Oh, and for another kick in the stomach, the Rangers do not have an insurance policy on him. Ouch. All right. Jacob deGrom only pitched 156 and 2/3 innings in the previous 2 seasons. Pitchers who pitch 200 a year is good, but to have 156 over 2 seasons, he made 11 starts last season and 15 in 2021. Wow. So the Rangers still decided to sign him because in the past 4 years, since he won back-to-back Cy Youngs, he's been injured. So, yeah. So you see something like that, and you're like, is Shohei Ohtani worth it? Is he worth it? Yeah, but what's the negative side of it? What's the negative side of it? You're just losing a pitcher here. Shohei Ohtani, you're losing a pitcher and an MVP candidate. Cornelius Squalls, he's like, well, who would give an insurance policy on a pitcher? No, they give insurance policies on pitchers, but look at his history. It was difficult because of his history. He started 11 games last year and 15 games the year before. We're talking pitchers go 30 starts a year. He got maybe half of that once in 2 years. So what company's going to back that? That was a bad move, in my opinion, by the Rangers. If you can't get an insurance policy on him, you can have all that tough talk you want. No, he'll grind through. He's a winner. Okay. You have to be analytical, and just like Joe Friday, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. And the facts were the last 2 seasons he's pitched at max at the most half of his scheduled starts. 11 last year and 15 2 years ago. And you want to give him $185 million? Man, if I had a son, he's playing baseball like a Mother Hubbard, boy. Baseball like a Mother Hubbard, boy. Let me tell you, that is insane. Yeah, no, Junior, but Bobby Bonilla, he is still getting paid, but Bobby Bonilla's situation is different. Bobby Bonilla's situation is awesome. Yeah, what day is it? June, July 1st. That's what it is. I thought it was June. So July every July 1st until was it 20? Let me get this right. Until 2035. This is awesome. Every July 1st until 2035, he gets $1.19 million. Every July 1st. Yes, Marshawn, yes. And that was because, so that's a different thing. They negotiated that, which was brilliant by his agents, to think that, okay, well, with inflation and with this and with that. Wow. That's dope. That's dope. That is dope. You know, so that's why I say, is it worth it? Yeah, I don't know. Well, listen, keep this moving on. The next topic, the Sky. Yay. There we go, baby. The Sky. What a big win yesterday. Big win in OT, overtime, over the Indiana Fever, 108-103. And they're back. They lost 3 in a row, but they're back, baby. Mayberry had 28 points. Kalia Copper, 24. Dana Evans, 20 points, 7 assists. Smith dropped in 18 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. Good win for the Sky. And I'd love to see them. I'd like to see them winning, because we know that they just went through a purge. All right, we know that they just lost 4 of their 5 starters. It took them to the WNBA championship 2 seasons ago. Took us to the deep into the WNBA. Was it the Western Conference Finals or the Eastern Conference? Whatever, the semis. I don't think they have Eastern and Western because there's so few teams. Got to the semifinals and lost last year. Okay, and then 4 of the 5 starters went elsewhere this year. Good to see them not fall off a table by their production, their wins, I'm saying. And you know what? And speaking of the Sky, an interesting occurrence happened, or situation happened. The Sky has new investors. A women's group headed by this lady, Laura Ricketts. Yes, the Ricketts of the Chicago Cubs, Ricketts. Her and 5 other ladies, for $8.5 million, purchased 10% in the Sky. And with that purchase, the team is now valued at $85 million. It's the second highest in the league behind the Seattle Storm. They're one something, I want to say. Okay. This is important for a lot of reasons. One, that it's all women. And I don't want to. So the company, the group, which is headed by Ricketts, the new investors are Foot Locker CEO Mary Dillon, Laura Desmond, who's the CEO of Smartly.io and founder and CEO of private equity firm Eagle Vista Partners, Kerry Sachs, board chair for Chicago's Museum of Contemporary Art, Tina Titchen, the former president and CEO of Time's Up, and now chief strategy and impact officer for the Obama Foundation and principal at Seneca Strategies, and Ann Sempowski Ward. She's the CEO of Curio Brands. Okay. That's the group that bought 10% of the Sky. And their main focus now is they're trying to get a practice facility. That's the one thing. And because they have a facility, they practice at a place, but it's up in Lake Forest. Okay. It's 29 miles away from the stadium where they play. Plus, the other thing there is like you want to have, what can you offer your players, girls, ladies that come here? You're going to be living in Lake Forest. Do you want to live in Lake Forest or do you want to live in Chicago? What do you want to do? Okay, because the Bulls got the memo. The Bulls made a smart move years ago to build the goodness gracious, the Advocate Center literally across the street from the United Center. Why? Because you couldn't get people to come here and say, okay, you got to live in Lake Forest. You got to drive 25 minutes, 25, 30 miles home every day after a game. And with the way that free agents were coming 3 or 4 years, 5 years, who wants to buy a house, travel that distance every time there's a game? No. You want to live downtown. You want to take advantage of Chicago. You want to live in a condo because you might probably only going to be here for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. And a condo downtown is much easier to sell than a house in Lake Forest or Deerfield or somewhere up north. Plus, you could also keep it because now you got a place to stay when you come back to Chicago in the off season, or if you play for another team and you want to come here before the season, after the season, whatever. So the Bulls got the memo. Now the Sky need to do that as well. Because that's going to go a long way in helping them bring free agents, top-notch players to Chicago, and try and get them back into the WNBA finals. Yeah. Where did that go? Stop it. Stop it. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. All right, you son of a biscuit. What I didn't do, I didn't log into on my phone, my computer. I didn't log into the this Tribune because the article I was using was from the Tribune. So it won't let me read the article. I can't read it and look it up. So I have to look it up on my phone. So yeah, Sky's valuation is second in the WNBA, as I said, behind the Seattle Storm, who set their new value at $130 million earlier this year when they brought in 15 new investors and a total of $21 million. Okay. And the fact that it's all women was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And she she said, according to the article, she said she felt investing in the sky aligned with the philanthropic goals of her and her wife, Brooke Skinner. And they're already working on they were working on some stuff because now there's a multi-year broadcasting deal with Marquee. Because if you know the Cubs play the Sky have their games on also on channel 26, which is what they played last night. All right. So yeah, I'm cool because where do they practice at? They train at the Saks Recreation Center in Deerfield. All right. They don't have a 24-hour access to a gym or weight room or recovery. You know what I mean? By the gym, you mean the recovery, the rehab, like all that's in the gym, in your practice facility. So if you got a game and you need pretty much round the clock treatment, they don't have that. If you're a top-notch organization, all the NBA teams do. And this is one of the teams that's not in conjunction with the NBA, with their city's NBA team. Like there's no partnership between the Bulls and the Sky. So like they don't have the ability just to go to the Advocate Center and just get training. They don't. But that's not a bad move. If they want to rent one of the courts, why not? Or find one of their own and find some other land and build it there. They initially said they wanted to get something in the South Loop over not too far from the facility, from the Wintrust Arena. Can you find something over there? What's the price point going to be? I don't know. There's a lot going on with that, but it's a good move. I think it's a great move, as a matter of fact. Well, the next top of the morning topic, this is awesome. Buffalo Bills cornerback Damar Hamlin was a full participant in the Bills OTAs this week, 5 months after collapsing on the field against the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, I can't even tell you how much this warms my heart. Check this out. Man, that was a scary moment. I remember watching it here at home. It for a brief moment, for a week or so, but immediately it literally brought everybody together. Literally. Race, creed, socioeconomic status, religion, religious beliefs. It didn't matter. You're a football fan. If you're a life fan, you were concerned. We were all concerned for Damar Hamlin. And what his ordeal went through, they had to revive him on the field, which means he had died. If they have to revive you, that means you're dead. They had to revive him on the field. And they had to revive him again at the hospital at the University of Cincinnati. So he died twice. And for him to be back, to be cleared, and obviously to be cleared, he had to get through, he got to get back into football shape. So he had to work out. He had to start running and conditioning and all this other stuff. And to see him back in OTAs as full participant. Listen, I don't care what God you believe in, or if you don't believe in a God at all, that's fine. Truly, truly a miracle. All right. I'm so happy for him. One, that he's alive, period, that he's alive. Two, that he was able to go back and play football. So he'll be able to continue make millions of dollars. Or as long as he's maintained and kept on the squad. He'll be able to change the outcome and the fortune of his family moving forward. It was just a great sight to see yesterday at Buffalo Bills. This week, recently at Buffalo Bills training camp. It was something else. Something else. I can't. I don't know. That one hits home a little for me. All right, because many of you know, maybe not all of you, but many of you may know, in 2009, I had a player die on the field. One of my defensive studs, Kwashi Chandler. Rest in peace, Kwashi. We were playing at Bolingbrook. It was the first game of the season, and they were blowing us out. Game was over. It was all over but the crying. And a couple minutes left in the fourth. We were down by like 30 or 40, something like that. And he's on the sideline. I had taken all the starters out, and he just slumped over on the bench and fell off the bench onto the turf. Being out in Bolingbrook, they ambulance is in the end zone, and they were there with under a minute, obviously. And the scary part for me, and I still have a weird time, even just watching it on TV, is when they with the defibrillator, where they shocked him, and his arms went up. So this for me was, when I saw that, and then when I hear about it, it's just a little, it hits home, because I've been there firsthand when the medics are trying to revive somebody. So I get it. It was tough, and I'm so happy that he's able to continue playing, and got the millions of dollars that went to his toy drive, his foundation. I thought was an awesome show of support for this country, from this country, unifying it, and I just thought it was a great thing. So, yeah, sorry I got a little emotional, because that brings back memories of Kwashi, and he unfortunately wasn't as lucky to be able to be revived and go on. He was 16 years old. So, anyway, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my guy, Eugene McIntosh from the Bigs. Talk a little NBA Finals action. I'm excited. Let's get to it. Don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Off the fake. Fields against the grain. Finds Jesse James. Field. With time. Delivers down the field. And Tom Murray. Still running. Made one way. Fields stumbling. Trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Everybody in a work zone is someone's somebody.
This is my mom. She works for KDOT.
This is my dad.
This is my mom.
This is my daddy.
This is my sister.
This is my daddy.
This is my son, Scott. He was killed while working in a highway work zone. When you drive through a work zone, drive like a life depends on it. Because it does.
Order up.
Thank you.
When I want to give up, I try to focus on getting to the next minute, then the next hour, and the next day.
It might not seem like it right now, but there are people out there like me
who want to listen and support you for the long haul.
And I found someone to talk to, someone who listened.
You are not alone.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Yeah, as I said, it stinks. You want to be out there. It's just not ideal, but get this behind me and give it all I got, and come back. The goal, I'm going to set a goal to try to be back next year, towards the end of the year. So work towards that, and hopefully we're in a playoff run next year, and but the most important things this year, and these guys that we have, like I said, it's a special group, and want to be here rooting them on. So
welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. That, folks, was Jacob deGrom. And it's tough. I mean, you see the passion, you see him tearing up, you see him, you understand that if you've ever played sports and you've been injured, it's a tough, you can't go forward with the guys that you've trained with, all right, that are counting on you, all right, to do your part. It was tough, man. It's really tough. I've been in that situation a couple of times, not very often, thank goodness, in my 30-year football career, believe that or not. And it sucks. It sucks. It's not even about the money, not even about the wasting of the contract like we talked about. It's about the competitor. And, some people be like, it depends on the player. Some people like, yeah, they'll sit there and like, you know what, I'm just going to rehab and come back. But you can see the passion that he has for pitching. You can see the passion that he has for being, for heading on the IL and missing the chance to compete with his teammates. Because some people don't cry. Some people don't get emotional. And I'm not saying that he's more authentic or anything, but you can just tell the passion that he had. And it's really cool to see the human side of sports. All right. Again, take away the millions of dollars. He's not going to be able to compete for a World Series championship. And that's his main objective. Yeah, of course, making money is paramount. But when you're at the end, it doesn't matter what sport, when at the end of the year and you're holding up that trophy, you won the last game of that sports season, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it at all. We're getting close. It is a best of 5. The NBA Finals are resuming tonight down in the 305. And I wanted to talk to my guy because, man, first of all, I love just talking with him. We can talk sports and we can talk any sport: baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, track, highlight, pickleball, shit. We could talk whatever. Man, he is one of the founders of the Bigs. You can find him on Twitter at Stay Humble. Guys, welcome back our friend Eugene McIntosh. Gino, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
Shawn, what's good, my brother?
Man, whole bunch, brother. Whole bunch, man. And that's why I had to get you on, and I wanted to talk some NBA Finals because I know there are a lot of people that can talk basketball. There's not a lot of people that can talk basketball, and you're one of those people that I enjoy talking to about hoops, and that's why I had to get you on, Papa. Talk to me. Game 3, Jimmy G buckets, and the G stands for gets. Man, he didn't disappoint. He didn't get game 1 like he did in the previous 3 series. He got game 2. Talk to me how they got game 2 when they couldn't get it in game 1.
Personally, I think, not to take anything away from Miami, but I think Denver defensively, they were just horrible. A lot of miscues. Even when the game started, the first bucket of the game, Max Strus 3-pointer, it was a terrible read. And, the first 3 or 4 buckets, actually, they were Max Strus threes. And in game 1, none of that was going on. Denver was locked in defensively. And to be honest, the only way that the Miami Heat are going to win this series is if they make 3-pointers. During the regular season, they were at the bottom. I think they may have been 26th or 27th in 3-pointers. But in this playoffs, they're number 1. So obviously that's the key to Miami winning. But on the defensive side, give credit to the Heat and Coach Spo, putting Jimmy Butler on Jamal Murray. And Murray, he had 18 and 10, which isn't a bad game. But, the game plan is basically to let Jokic get off and limit those other guys. And when Jokic isn't in that high post, commanding the offense and finding other guys with back cuts and stuff like that, Denver's not as effective. And also with the Jimmy and with the Murray and Jokic pick and roll, now that you got Jimmy on Murray and Bam on Jokic, if they do switch, Bam is agile enough to stay with Jamal Murray. But most of the time, the NBA, usually on pick and rolls, they just switch. The Miami Heat, they're not going to switch. Jimmy's going to fight through that screen, and they play great. They play great defense where they all make up for each other. So I love the way the Heat are playing. I think another reason why they've advanced this far is because of the trust factor. When you look at Duncan Robinson, and you got who's the other guy? Even Kyle Lowry, a guy who's been to the NBA Finals, a guy who knows what it takes to get the job done. The Jimmy and Bam who made it to the bubble championship, and then you got Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin, all of those guys who at times have taken over the offense. And when it comes down to it, late in the game, you let your big time players show up, when it's time. So the trust factor with the Heat and the fact that they're a well conditioned team, we've heard about Pat Riley and Spo's off-season workouts and coming into camp. You can't come into camp out of shape. You got to have like less than 6% body fat. So when the times get tough and when, later in the season, when it's time to grind it out, when most teams are probably fighting for their last breath, the Heat are built for it. So I'm not sure if it's a must-win game for either team tonight, but I feel like Miami needs this W tonight more than Denver does.
I could see that. Because the last thing you want to do is give up home court, especially your first game back at home that you're enjoying it. You don't want to just flounder, just give it away and squander it away. And that's so if they get it and if they still split, it doesn't really matter because Miami knows they can win in Denver. Okay. If it did have to go a game 7, they know they can. It's tough. I'm not saying it's easy. Don't get me wrong, but they know they've done it already. We did it before. We can do it again. Talk to me about the shooting. Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin. How huge was it why were they able to drain all those threes in game 2? And in game 1, man, they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat.
Again, man, just if you go back and look at some of those highlights, just look at the first 2 minutes of the game. And just look at Denver's defensive rotations. I feel like even Michael Porter Jr., when he had an awful game, and when he's not scoring the ball offensively, I think it's a trickle down effect, and it affects the rest of his game. So when he's not on point, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who I feel like is the anchor of that defense, just being a guy who's always available, a tough-nosed, hard-nosed guy. Leading that charge. Jokic, I think he may have had 10 rebounds last game, but when he's not getting 14, 15, 16 rebounds, the Miami Heat just brought it to him. And I feel like Denver, I don't know if they took Miami, for granted in game 2, like they were just going to run over them like they did game 1. But I think you just have to give the Heat credit for making that adjustment. And they know that if you look at it, I was just telling someone this yesterday, just look at it, go back to game 1 of the playoffs. They weren't a better team than the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis missed a couple games, true, but they weren't a better team than the Milwaukee Bucks. Second round, you get to the Knicks. They weren't a better team than the New York Knicks. Mm-hmm. They still won the series. Third series, the Boston Celtics, the team that most people thought were going to be representing the Eastern Conference in the finals. They were not a better team than the Boston Celtics, but they won the series. So that alone should tell you everything you need to know about the Heat culture, and they're built for this. So I feel like a lot of those guys, it's the perfect situation, especially Jimmy. This is the situation and the team and the culture. This is the perfect fit for Jimmy, where he doesn't have to get. Yeah, he had to get 40 a few of those games in New York, and a couple games in that Boston series. But Jimmy is, I think he's best when he's at 22, 24, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 2-3 steals, and he's guarding the other team's best player. And you get those other guys to chip in, Martin 3 or 4 threes, Gabe Vincent 3 or 4 threes, Strus and Duncan Robinson, all of those guys 2-3 threes. And you get Kyle Lowry to come in there and just be a guy who knows what it takes to win and can kind of be another defensive anchor. He's always leading the league in charges taken and the things that really don't show up on the scoreboard. So I think that Heat team, they're well put together, they're well conditioned, and they're just a well-oiled machine. So I feel like the Denver Nuggets, they just got to get back to what they do best. And at the end of the day, they're going to have to outscore Denver. And that's a tough thing to do when they're clicking on all cylinders. But like you said, the Heat have shown that they can go in another team's house and get a victory when it's needed. So it's been an interesting series so far, man. I'm interested to see how Game 3 plays out.
Man, you and me both, guys. We're joined by Eugene McIntosh from the Bigs. We're talking about NBA Finals right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. I said that you said it exactly what I said, just differently. The Heat are going to play the same way every time.
Yep.
They don't. They're gritty, they're grimy, they're physical, great defense. They hit, sometimes they miss a lot of threes. That's it. That's what they're going to do. They're going to play tough defense on you, and end of story. Now, you mentioned you took words out of my mouth. That's why I love talking to you, dude. Because game recognizes game, man. You're like, they were nowhere better than any of the teams that they played in those series.
Yeah.
But they said we're going to play our way. If it's good enough to win a series, then we're going to win a series. If it's not good enough to win a series, then we're not going to win a series. Are you disciplined enough to stay in your philosophy? Are you disciplined enough when we get in your face? Are you getting disciplined? Dude, how many times on the floor because they're boxing out? The Boston series, Jimmy's boxing out Jason Tatum like damn near by the free throw line because the small little things like that gets the rebounds. You don't give Boston any cheap putbacks, nothing like that.
Yeah,
I love that. I hope Denver realizes, and I think it's a bigger shock to Denver because Miami's been doing this since they lost the first play-in game.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, cool. Well, we got Chicago, no worries, and we're just go back to how we do it. Denver's got to say we got to make sure that we stick to our game plan because if not, they already saw what could happen. And how big of an upset would it be? A number 8 seed beating the Denver Nuggets, who are number 1 in the West. Yeah, that'd be really, really embarrassing and a huge, huge upset for Denver and a big embarrassment for the team for the organization, a franchise who get into their first NBA Finals.
Yeah, I do agree. But again, I feel like that the Heat culture, I think a lot of people, the casual sport, I always talk about the casual sports fan, but they don't look deeper than the action on the court.
Right.
And like we've said, even when you go back to the D Wade and the Antoine Walker, Shaquille O'Neal days, up until Chris Bosh and LeBron, even back with Tim Hardaway and those guys, the Heat culture has always been intact. So like you said, you know what you're going to get. They're hard-nosed, they're physical, they're tough. They're going to play their way. And if it's not good enough, then tip your cap and move on. But a lot of teams, they have that discipline factor. But I don't think that's going to be the case with Denver. I think Mike Malone has a good hold on that team. I think his message at the end of game 2 was stern, and I think it got across. And I look for Denver to come out with a much better effort in Miami tonight. But Miami, they're probably going to show up in all white. You're going to look around that stadium, and it's going to be all whited out. And they're going to come with the energy. They're going to come with the passion. And you're going to have to beat the Miami Heat tonight to go up 2-1.
I love you mentioned the culture. I love it. It's been there. I mean, people don't understand. You talk about the casual fan. This has been with Pat Riley since he was with the Lakers, dude. Like Showtime doesn't happen unless you play defense. You're not rebound. I mean, you're not running and putting up all these points and magic with these crazy ass assists if you're not playing defense, rebounding and getting it out quickly. They play great defense in LA. everyone just was amazed by Magic because we had never seen. I mean, except maybe for Bob Cousy, but someone that size with those type of passes, it was crazy. And then he had the finishers, and Scott and Worthy and Kareem trailing. So his mentality of tough defense has been there since the 80s. So if people are surprised, they're obviously not very knowledgeable sports fans, because if you were, it was there with them, it was there with the Knicks, it was there now. That's what they do. They play good defense, and then when you have more talent, well, obviously the offense is derived from defense many a time, and you just look at the offensive side as opposed to just the defensive side. Let me ask you this question, because a lot of people, I got in an argument with a lot of people with Jimmy Butler. In your eyes, is he a star or is he a superstar?
Hey, man, it depends on your definition of star and superstar. To me, a superstar is someone that people are going to pay their money to come and see. No matter what stadium you're in, even if you're coming to an opposing stadium, those fans are coming to see you. I don't think Jimmy is a superstar.
Okay.
I think he's a star, and I think some of the things that he does, I can't say I'm a big Jimmy fan. You know, I've seen Jimmy from the first time he laid his feet through a Chicago Bulls uniform. So I wasn't the biggest Jimmy Butler fan here, but I can admit that he's grown as a man, he's grown as a player, and he's become much more than I thought he would be. So I do give him credit for that, but I don't think he's a superstar. I do think he's a star. I do think some of the things that he does that, they don't show up on the stat sheet. I feel like some superstars don't do those things because they're talented enough where those things really don't matter. So when you look at the superstars around the league, if we're going to talk about Stephen Curry, Giannis, Dame, KD.
Do you put Jason Tatum in that superstar or not superstar category then either?
I don't put Jason Tatum in the superstar category. He hasn't. Okay. He's still got a lot to prove to me, and that doesn't mean winning a championship, because a championship is a team goal.
Right.
That's a team accomplishment. I mean, man for man, I think Jason Tatum has superstar qualities. Let's not forget that guy's still 24, 25 at the most. So he still has a lot.
I forget that, dude.
Yes, man. He's a young guy. He's a very young guy.
It seems like he's been in the league for like 10 years.
Because the Celtics have been to the Eastern Conference Finals the last 5 years. So I give him credit for that. But when you think of superstars, that's what separates star and superstar for me. Are fans from from the opposing stadiums coming to pay their money to see you. And I think Jason Tatum is kind of teetering that line right now, but I think Steph, Giannis, Dame, KD, and I'm leaving out a
obviously LeBron.
Excuse me, sorry about that. Bron, a couple other guys, but those are the superstars.
Ja Morant, when he's reinstated.
That's a whole nother conversation. Ja, exactly. And Ja still has a lot of work to do. Like, he hasn't accomplished more than Jason Tatum, but people are coming to see. People are paying their hard-earned money to come and see Ja Morant. So that's what separates star and superstar for me.
Okay. See, you and I are going to differ then. I do think he's a superstar, but I think he's at the bottom of that superstar category.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's at the bottom, and I think Jason Tatum's at the top of the star category. Like, they're just like Jimmy's an A- and Jason Tatum's like a B+. You know what I mean? Wow. Like, they're almost like right there, that type of thing.
Wow. Let me cut you off right there. And that's what I mean when I say some of those things I agree with you 100% why people would take Jimmy Butler over Jason Tatum, because of those things that don't show up on the stat sheet, because of the hustle, because of the tough plays, because of the intangibles. Jason Tatum he's got the crossover, he's got the step back, he's got the 3-pointer, he's a playmaker, he can do all that. It looks cool. What Jimmy does doesn't look cool to most people. He's just that's been most of his career. That's how he's been able to succeed, by putting in the hard work and not caring what it looks like. It's all about the results for Jimmy. So I do agree with you 100%. That's what I was talking about when I was saying, like, some of those things that will put Jimmy Jimmy over Jason Tatum.
Yeah, so you can see how someone like that, or him being the top of the just the star category. But I just think, and the reason I put him there is just because he's willed this team to because they are not a good on paper. They're not a great team by any stretch. But the thing that the thing that makes them that I love about it is it starts with the top, just like any organization, right? With Pat Riley, goes to Eric Spoelstra, and I think Jimmy's mentality of and his style of play is a perfect fit. You talk about a hand in glove. Yep. I mean that him with Pat Riley and Spoelstra, and now he can get on players. You can get on in teammates' faces. Not like in Minnesota where they're a little salty, and then in Philly where he had Ben Simmons and he wanted to go cry. Here he's got some tough son of a gun. If he says, "Hey fool, you missed that. Don't effing do that again." Like, oh, I bet, stuff like that, where they take it and they roll with it. I think it's just a great fit for those guys, and I'm so happy that he's there. And then he's clutch. He's been clutch to the point. I think he would be a superstar if he was able to score more on a consistent basis. But he lets them delegate, or he delegates. Like, okay, you're on. Okay, you take it. You're on. You take it. Kobe, Mike, Steph, those guys. I'm taking it. You know what I mean? So I think if he took over a little more, I think that he would be more people might consider him a superstar. But talk to me about Spoelstra and how this team, how important or how great Spoelstra is getting 7 undrafted people on this team, getting this team to the finals, and why just that alone is worthy of him getting a lot more recognition and definitely Hall of Fame consideration when he's done coaching.
Yeah, that's it's kind of. Well, I guess I would give them the nod over the Tampa Bay Rays, but it's kind of the same thing that the Rays do. It's like they scout, they draft, and they develop extremely well. And it's like the Rays, they grab a guy, develop him, bring him up, and he's the next guy. It's like anybody they bring up out of that system, they're the next guy. You know what
they
I'm
just
saying?
Don't pay him. They let him go somewhere else.
Well,
they just don't pay him.
That's probably why they haven't come out with a World Series.
Them, Kansas City.
That's another story. But same things, same background, man. It's like they develop player development, man. It's really huge. We today we're gonna drop and this is off topic, but today we're gonna drop a interview we did with God Shamgod and his son God Shamgod Jr. They have a father-son Advil campaign that they're about to do. I think it's probably gonna come out around Father's Day, but it was a good talk. But I ended up asking God Shamgod about player development and how important it is in today's NBA. And a lot of people think that these guys, when they're drafted or when they come up to the league, they should automatically be ready to play. And that's just not the case. And he was just saying how much, because he's the player development guy for the Dallas Mavericks. And he was just saying like how important player development is, even with guys who are ready to play when they get there. The league, it transitions so much, that every year there's something that you have to get better at. And if you think that your talent is just going to take you to the next level and keep you in the league amongst your peers, it's not. It's about the development of the player and the willingness of the player to develop. Back again, these guys get paid a lot of money, and it was something Rasheed Wallace talked about even with the coaching carousel. You see Monty Williams and all of these guys who've had success, they don't have jobs. And I think that's because these guys get paid so much money, and a lot of these coaches, they're scared to tell the players how they feel and just stuff like that. So I feel like going back to the Miami Heat and Spo and what you mentioned, most importantly, Pat Riley and the culture that he has set since the LA Lakers. You have to be willing to go the extra mile. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes. And Spo, since he start out as a video coordinator or something like that?
Cutting tape.
Yes. So that alone lets you know where his mindset was. And he's detailed and he's down to the T. He has those guys believing in that Heat culture. And when you got a guy, and there's another problem with the NBA, they lack veteran leadership, and that could be the problem with Ja in Memphis. There was no veteran there to show him how to be a professional, how to have a long NBA career, and how to carry yourself on and off the floor. So when you look at Miami and Udonis Haslem, a guy who's been there for 20 years, I think that's a very important piece to that culture. So again, give Spo, give Pat Riley, give the Heat culture all of the credit. I don't know if a lot of those got Max Strus. He was on the Bulls. Max Strus
Yes,
looked
he
like
was.
a guy that wasn't going to be around for long, but he got to a place where they cared about development. I feel like if you can shoot the ball, you'll always have a spot in the NBA.
Yeah, you will.
But you have to be able to do some of those other things. Again, most of those things don't show up on the scoreboard, and you don't get the credit for, around the league or, in people's eyes. But your teammates and the people who care and know about you most, they know what you bring to the team and to the table. So you got to give Spo and that culture a lot of credit. And Spo is definitely going down as one of the greatest coaches in NBA history.
I think one of the things that I see, and then as being a coach, I see what they do, and I applaud it. They're asking, first of all, they challenge you. All right. And who knows how psychologically deep they go into, like, look, you're a nobody wants you. All right. You got to, how we'll give you a shot, but you have to earn it. It seems like he asks, and this is what great coaches do. It doesn't matter if you're drafted, undrafted, first round, second round, whatever. They accentuate your strengths. What do you do well? Okay. You do this well, then we want you to do this. You're not asking Max Strus to go rebound. We need 10, 12 rebounds from you. What are you asking him to do? Play good defense, hit threes. All right. If the lane opens up, drive to the hole, cool. Draw contact, get to the free throw line. You're asking him to do that. Good coaches, good organizations maximize players' positives, their strengths, and they minimize and don't ask them to do to partake in their weaknesses.
Yep.
Like, we didn't ask Rodman to come in and score 25, 30 a game. That's not his thing. And you didn't ask Kerr to go and rebound 10, 12 a game. You ask them, you give them a role, and watch how players develop. It doesn't matter from Babe Ruth to Little League to high school to college to pro, semi-pro. When you give someone a role, and this is what you define the role for them, it's easy for the player to develop, to flourish, because this is all that they're good at, what they're going to do. And I think the Heat have done a great job of that. The only thing they ask you to do is you got to play defense. All right, and you're a rebounder, cool, perfect. But if you're a three-point shooter, great. But if you're not a great mobility-wise, at least close out. At least get handed passing. At least fight and get your ass on the floor for loose balls. All right, all these little things that you talked about that might not come up, they challenge them to do, and that's I think one of the biggest reasons. Like I said, they're gritty. I think that's a great word, gritty. This team is just not super talented, just gritty, and that's going to take you a long way when you get teams. The old saying, hard work beats talent when talent don't work.
Yep.
That's what these guys do, man. And to me, it's fun to see. Tonight, what do you expect from Jimmy? You think he's gonna feed off the 305 crowd, or is he gonna let other people, kind of get, because Strus and what's his name, Robinson, what were they, 1 for 17, or Caleb were 1 for 17 in game one? I think and even Malone. Remember after the game, even Malone was mad. The Denver head coach is like, we didn't play good. He goes, they just missed their shots.
Yeah, they just missed shots, exactly.
Because they had wide open looks in game one, a lot of them, and missed. How do you think Jimmy comes out today? How do you think, what's his approach, do you think?
It's interesting because we've seen Jimmy most of the time, like you said, he kind of gets a feel for the game. He tries to let some of those other guys get off early, trying to read, the defense. But we've also seen Jimmy come out and get 16 or 18 or 20 in the first quarter to set the tone for the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, he feeds off that 305 crowd and goes to work early. I feel like that would bode well for them, knowing that they probably feel like they need this W more than the Nuggets do today. But I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out just, kind of lets Gabe Vincent and Max Strus get some early shots off, see if their shot is falling. If not, then he'll kind of pick up the pace. But I feel like the main key is Bam Adebayo. He's been very efficient offensively. He's taking 20 to 25 shots a game. And if he can give them 24, 25, 26 points, the Heat will be tough to beat. Because Jimmy, I think he may have had 18 last game, but he does the things that will the team to a victory. So if Bam can come out and give them what they need offensively, and you get 2-3 threes from Strus and Vincent and Caleb Martin, and Kyle Lowry comes in and he hits his big shots, the Heat will be in great position to win tonight's ball game. But I do think the Denver Nuggets are going to come out with a sense of urgency. I think Mike Malone is going to make the adjustment. Obviously,
That was my next question, dude. That was my last question for you. What adjustment are they going to make? Because you saw them, they shut down everybody else. Go ahead, Joker. Yeah. You get your 40. So what adjustment does Denver have to make? Say, okay, if they're gonna close out on us and let Joker go to work and not let anyone else, what do you think the adjustment is going to be to that in order to get everybody else involved?
You put Joker in different positions. Now you put him on the block more. You put him in that high post more. You run more. I think you run different sets. I don't think you rely on the pick and roll with Murray and Jokic if they're going to play it straight up. I think the Denver Nuggets, they have one of the better offensive schemes in the league. I feel like Mike Malone hasn't given us everything that he has in his toolbox. So I think tonight you're going to see a much different, maybe not much different, but you're going to see different schemes and different sets run by the Nuggets. You're going to see Michael Porter Jr. probably get more looks. I think Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is going to be more of a threat offensively. Obviously, the Joker and Murray, you need those guys to be who they are if this team stands a chance. But I do think that Jokic will be somewhere around the 20, 24, 26 range. He'll end up with a triple-double. I feel like Murray will come up with the big shots. The number, maybe not 30 points like he had in that last series against the Lakers, but the big shot will be there. But I'm looking for the adjustment offensively and definitely defensively. I feel like running the Miami Heat off of the three-point line, making them drive and making tough shots in the lane is the key for the Nuggets to come out on top. So the Heat are only going to win one way, and that's by making threes. So if the Nuggets can run them off the line, get them into the lane, and have them make tough shots, floaters and pull-up jumpers like that, that's their best shot at winning the day. But the Heat, they're definitely going to have that crowd behind them. But I'm taking the Nuggets to go up 2-1 tonight.
Oh, okay. Because you're spot on about that point. Because the Denver Nuggets, they kind of outplayed themselves. When you play for someone for the first time, and you've watched them, and the guy likes to block shots. You just give him head fake, and just an eyebrow fake, and man's jumping, and that's all Denver was doing. You saw Kevin Love just dribble, step to the side behind a three, and nail it. So they have to be more under control because you're closing out on a 3-point shot, but are you out of control where he can just dribble, sidestep, stay in rhythm with that one dribble, and then still get a good look at it? Now a wide open three because you're not closing out because you're past them. They have to be a lot more under control because you can't give those guys wide open threes in Miami.
And that was another thing Spo did, I feel like was a clutch move for him, is by starting Kevin Love, a guy who has experience. He can play the Joker. Obviously, he's not going to stop him, but Kevin Love is a guy who knows how to play basketball, and he can hit the glass. And like you said, he's a guy that gets it off the glass and pushes the ball up. He can make that Wes Unseld pass to the opposite end of the floor with precision. So Kevin Love is a big key. He can step out, shoot the three. So that's another option to knock down 2 or 3 threes to give you 10 points off the bench. So
and pull the Joker out now.
Pull him out. That's what I'm saying. You keep him off the glass, 10 rebounds. He's usually up 15, 16, 20 rebounds. So if you can get him away and make those threes, that's you got an even better chance at winning. So the adjustments on both sides, we got to watch both adjustments. But I do think just the Nuggets are more talented, and I feel like talent and they're going to outscore the Miami Heat tonight.
All right. Well, whatever it is, I don't have a dog in the fight. If anything, I guess I would have maybe the Heat slightly, just because some Jimmy. I just love his story. I love his, his how he's progressed and added to his game since he's come out of Marquette. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, I don't have I'm not vested in Miami. but I'm just enjoying it. If you give me 6 games like this, hell, even if you can go 7, man, I'll be happy as a pig in slop, man. I know the NBA will be happy with all those games, but it's going to be fun tonight. Gino, great stuff, Papa. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Man, just look us up, man. The Bigs, just Google the Bigs, man. We'll pop up. Twitter at It's the Bigs, Instagram It's the Bigs. Myself on Twitter at Stay Humble. You can see that scrolling at the bottom of the page. And yeah, man, just like I say, man, we doing it for the culture, man. We do it to uplift the culture. A lot of these other guys, they do it to try to be famous. That's not what we do, man. We're trying to uplift the culture. We're trying to give voices to the underserved community. And I feel like Sports Zone Chicago, the Bigs, the Barbers Chair Network, few other guys I'm probably forgetting, but it's us, man. You know the hashtag, man. We all we got. And like I say, anytime I can be of use to you guys, man, I'm a text away. And long as I'm available, it's a done deal, man. So much love to you. Say what's up to my girl Maya for me, and y'all keep banging, man. Sports Zone Chicago is dope.
Man, we feel the same way about you, bro. Anytime you need us, we're here, man. We're here. So I appreciate it. Hey, Papa, you have a good day, man, and we will talk soon, man. It's gonna be. I can't wait. I'm excited. Like I got a team in the fight. I'm just excited. I haven't been as excited about a basketball game without a dog in a fight in I don't even know how long. This series is just fun. It's exciting. The various storylines. I just think it's great for the NBA, and I just think it's great for us fans right now, especially if you don't have a dog in a fight. I think it's just good basketball and great stuff to watch in the finals, as it should be. You should be getting the best basketball now in the finals, and I think we are. So I'm excited about tonight. Hey, we'll be in touch soon, man. You take care, and we'll talk.
Salute, brother.
All right. Guys, that's Eugene McIntosh from the Bigs, man. Great stuff. That's why I want him on. Like we can just talk. Like we could just shift it into baseball. We could have shifted into baseball, talk Sox and Cubs. We could have shifted into Bears, talk Bears. Man, we can just talk it all. And I just love being able to talk with various guests, guys who know sports, not just one particular thing. Great stuff. Listen, let's take a quick break. All right. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little baseball. We're going to talk a little baseball. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JGordonReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My future stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media, who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Urban. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoydenreports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoyden.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Curveball. The 0-1. In the air, right-hand side. Calhoun going back toward the wall into that corner. And this ball just barely clears the fence for Sebi Zavala's third home run.
And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh, boy. That ball is crushed to left field. And that ball is way gone. Sebi Zavala, who hit his first 3 Major League home runs in the same game, has bought in bulk at Yankee Stadium.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Whew. Big game. Big game for the good guys yesterday out in the Boogie Down Bronx. And Sebi provided the offensive power. Lucas Giolito, let me tell you something. I know we had Bob Nightingale on the other day, on Friday, as a matter of fact, and he was saying start selling the pieces, getting rid of people. But you're 4.5 games out. Everybody's healthy. The starting rotation is coming in strong now. I think today, and I was watching the post game yesterday with Ozzy, and it's funny, like I think a lot of the same way, maybe because we're both pretty close in age. If the White Sox win tonight, there's a good chance that they sweep. Going into New York and taking 3. If we get 2 out of 3, that's great. But there's a chance if we win tonight, we can go for the sweep. The Judge is not playing. Aaron Judge was day-to-day yesterday. Then after the game yesterday, came across the wire that they put him on the IL. So he's done for the season, for the series. So he's not playing this today or tomorrow for us. Or against us, I should say. There's a good shot. All right. I love the fact that he went. So it was 6 innings of no-hit baseball. Let me tell you something. Lucas Giolito is looking to get paid. And it might not be, and it probably won't be with the White Sox. But he's looking to get paid by somebody. If he continues this type of nonsense, this is the second time this year he's gone 6 innings of no-hit baseball. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? And the only reason that he got taken out was he was at 100 pitches. How many exactly? He was right around 100 pitches. And so that, you know the rule, like you can't go 100 pitches, otherwise, whatever. He was actually at 100 pitches. And he said it was, he understood he had too many walks. And I think he walked 2 guys in the first inning. So he got up early. His pitch count went up early. He probably could have gone 7. Okay. Probably could have gone 7. But the one thing that I was just, why? Why are you so adamant about, it's 100 pitches? You know how I feel that with the technology where it's at today, athletes should be better, should be stronger, should have more endurance. And to me, it just boggles my mind. He was in a zone yesterday. He was in a zone. And to watch him go to work yesterday, that's the kind of stuff we like to see every single day. All right, 7 punch outs, so he over 6 innings, so a little over a strikeout an inning. I'll take it. All right, I'll take it. This White Sox team is healthy. There's a good problem to have right now in the White Sox, and that is Pedro Grifol is trying to get all the bats in the lineup that he can, but there's only 9 slots. You got to play a position because you got Eloy DH and Gavin Sheets DH, righty lefty matchup, Jake Berger DH, Yo-Yo has not been, and sad to say, he's my guy. I love me some Yo-Yo. This could be his last year with the White Sox. It could be his last year with the White Sox. Yo-Yo was 1 for 4 yesterday. Okay. And the reason he stays is that he's phenomenal at third base. He's got an amazing glove. All right, he's got an amazing, amazing glove. All right, but right now he's batting 246. It's got to be up to 280, 290. All right. It's unfortunate. Like I love him, and this is what bothers me is the fact that he's so talented. I don't know what he does in the offseason. I'm not there. I'm just telling you, I feel. Okay, I feel that the dedication, and listen, you could want to win, but I just don't see the mentality. And you can combat that all you want. I don't care. It's just my eye from playing for 30 years, for coaching for 17 years. You can see when a guy wants to be great. You can see it. And I don't know if Yo-Yo wants to be great. And not even great, want to be the best. I think that's what it was. I don't know if he wants to be him or Lewis Robert. And to me, that's frustrating. So why wasn't Berger in yesterday? I mean, Berger, you want to go righty lefty matchups, and I get it. Okay. And I get it. And yesterday the Yankees started right-handed pitcher in Clark Schmidt. Okay, so you got the lefty. You got Gavin Sheets in there. All right. So who was DH? So Jimenez was DH. I could have put Jimenez in right field and put Vaughn in. Berger. Berger just hit the walk-off grand slam off a very, very tough closer. I don't know. I just don't know why Pedro Grifol. And here's one of the things. You can't just be by numbers. Oh, the matchups. It's a lefty pitchers. It's a righty pitcher, so you got to go lefty. No. No, I don't agree with that. He hit I'm trying to see who the pitcher was they hit the home run off of, but it was a right-hander. Oh, yeah, here it is. Alex Lang. All right. One of the toughest right-handed relievers in the bigs is Alex Lang. All right. Why not give him a shot? But you got a problem now because you have guys who want to hit. Then you have Yo-Yo, who's not hitting, but it plays an amazing third base. Who else you want to put there at third base? You want to put Berger? He's good. He's not Yo-Yo good. Do you want to put Berger at second? But then Romy is starting to hit. Elvis Andrews is back. So there is a good problem to have. And you're going to have people who are bitching and moaning. I listened to some sports talk radio this morning where they were talking. They were pissy about Berger not playing. I get it. But it's tough when you have guys. This is the problem you want as a manager. This is the problem that you relish as a manager. And hopefully Grifol, which I assume he did, has told these guys, look, we got 9 spots. You can't play every day. All right? Gavin Sheets, you're not playing every day. Berger, you're not playing every day. Romy, you're not playing every day. Now that Elvis is back, I need you to stay ready. All right? I need you to stay ready for pinch hitting roles, maybe go in later at the end of the game, maybe for defensive purposes. but I need you ready. And if he's told him that, well, then trust me, that goes a long way. By the same token, Yo-Yo's got to start hitting better. Yo-Yo has got to start hitting better. Eloy's got. I'm not to the point where I fear them. I'm not to the point where they're stop whatever you're doing because they're at bat good yet. There should be a spot. There should be a in this lineup. There should be a guy, or there actually should be 4 guys, maybe 5. TA, Lubob, Eloy, Yo-Yo, and Vaughn. If Gavin Sheets is playing, Gavin Sheets. That's 6 guys where you can't get up and leave. You can't get up and leave because you don't know what the hell's going to happen. I just gave you 6 guys. 5 and 6. 6 is Gavin Sheets. Who knows where he plays? That you shouldn't be able to get up from when they're at bat. When they're at batting, you should not be able to leave and go to the bathroom. You should not be able to leave and go make a sandwich. Go grab something to drink. You shouldn't be able to leave when these guys. When Shohei Ohtani's up, you don't leave. Remember when back in the day when Ken Griffey Jr. was up, you didn't leave. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. When those guys were up, you didn't leave. Mike Trout for a while, a long time. When he was up, you didn't leave. We have those guys. And this is why I question their mentality. Do they want to be the best? And that's frustrating. That is frustrating. Giolito, and listen, I am realistic. You know, Giancarlo Stanton yesterday looked like he just came off the IL. Judge wasn't playing. Okay, I get it. But as I said earlier, I'm not apologizing for winning. I'm not. Giancarlo Stanton, Joe the Collar, 0 for 4. Donaldson 1 for 3. He hit that homer in the 9th, first pitch of the 9th inning off of Hendricks. Hendricks like, you know what, my fault. And he shut down the next 3. So I'm not apologizing for the Yankees not being at full strength. For even though Giancarlo Stanton is back, he still isn't back. Or for the Judge being out. I'm not apologizing for it. No, you don't hear apologies from other teams when they come in and we're injured. We're decimated by all these injuries. You don't hear other teams apologizing, so I'm not apologizing for my White Sox. Now, can you continue to do it? We're going to see. You go and you take this game 2 from the Yankees today. You won the series, and now I need to see how bad you want it. Now I need to see the killer instinct. I need to see you, if you win today, if you win tonight, we'll put it this way. Tomorrow, you need a killer instinct regardless. If you win tonight, you need a killer instinct to sweep. If you lose tonight, you need a killer instinct to win the series. So the White Sox, for the next 2 games, must have that killer instinct. Must. We're going to find out, and I'm looking forward to it. All right. And one of the things they can't do, that dumb shit that gave up the first hit and the first run, that fly ball. Fly ball to left center field. Lubob, Andrew Benintendi chase it, and they get there and they stop. You have it. No, you have it. No, you have it. Look, Lubob. Lubob, you kind of blame Lubob because of the fact that he should have had it. If Eloy was in left field, Lubob would have had it no problem. Remember, they even made a bobblehead from it? But now Lou playing with a competent left fielder, a Gold Glove left fielder. So I don't know if it was a communication gap. If he said something in English or in Spanish and Andrew Benintendi didn't hear, I don't know what it was. Benintendi should have said, "Yo, go get you," or said anything, because then it could have confused Lou Bob. It just cannot happen. If you want to get to the playoffs, you want to go deep in the playoffs, that cannot happen. It gave up their first run yesterday. Those things need to be tightened up. And it's unfortunate because it's a Gold Glove center fielder and a Gold Glove left fielder, and neither of them wanted the ball. We'll see how that plays out later, because trust me, there'll be balls hit to left center field. If not today, then as the season goes on. We're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, my man's coming on. My man's in them. My man Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago. You know what? They're in shorts and T-shirts, and you can't tell a damn thing how good they're going to be. But God bless it, I am so freaking excited about this Bears team. And I want to talk to Glenn. We're going to talk about what he sees. Maybe he can temper my emotion, because I'm fired up. Like, I see the makings of a good team. I see the makings of a productive, a potent team. And they haven't even put pads on yet. I want to see how he feels on the other side of the break. So, guys, Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago, their draft analyst, he's coming on right after this. So don't go anywhere. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Rodgers with some time, pocket collapsing, and he's thrown down. Sacked by Travis Gibson. The gain of 4, it's Montgomery again sifting through into the secondary. Montgomery will keep his legs going to the 45-yard line. And a first down. Out of the Chicago timeout, it's 2nd and 10. Montgomery back to Fields, who throws the intermediate route that is caught by Equanimeous St. Brown, the former Packer, on the run to the 25-yard line. Gain of 30 for Chicago.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC. Those are the Bears, baby. I'm fired up about them. I'm very fired up. So I want to bring in my next guest. I want to bring him on because am I just too fired up because I'm a homer, or what I'm seeing legit? Guys, he works for NBC Sports Chicago. He might even be on a little later today, if I'm not mistaken. You can find him at True Glenn Morgan. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Glenn Morgan. Glenn, what's up, Papa? Good morning. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Shawn? How you feel, baby?
I feel good. Really, really good. I'm trying to stay even keel, because every time that highlight right there, those highlights get the hair on my arm standing up. I get fired up watching that shit. The other clip that Steve-O had produced, that's the one where and I was going to play that one, and I clicked the wrong button. That's the one where he outruns Jeff Okudah, his college teammate, against the Lions.
Yeah.
You know, just the stuff like that gets me fired up, man. It gets really, really fired up. And they're not even in pads; they're just in shorts, there's skivvies in their helmet and their Gazoo helmets, and I'm fired up. Am I getting too ahead of myself there, or is there still a lot that we can expect from this team when it finally kicks off?
And Shawn, all those things can be true. You can be too fired up, but doesn't mean you're wrong. They're wearing Gazoo helmets. You're right about that. Showing our age. They're practicing in shorts. Everything looks great now, but that doesn't mean that none of what you said is inaccurate. A lot of it is yet to be, of course, and we are speculating. But hope springs eternal. It's before the season. Everybody's undefeated. All those things, all those old tropes run true. But we're talking about a team that has shown vast improvements just with their roster alone. And then the things we're hearing out of OTAs lead you to believe that this team is going to be better comprised, better composed, and that much better to be able to compete. And so with that, going off of 3 and 14 season, which in my opinion could have been a few more games, the defense was a little bit better. But going off of that kind of season, you can, look, you pretty much can only go up. I mean, yeah, you could lose one game or you win just one game, but they're not going to be that type of team. So yes, you'd be excited about it. Of course, you should be. You have to be. You want to be.
Yeah, and I am, and I'm unapologetic for it because I see the things, the culture that they're building. That's been set last year, even though they lost, 14 games. How many, you talked about, there could have been a lot more wins. Justin can't do it all. A lot of the wide receivers, a couple of the missteps from them, the Cairo Santos missed field goal where we lost, a missed extra point, where that came back to bite us in the butt. So there's a lot of other things, and it worked out perfectly because we were able to get DJ Moore. We're able to get out of that number 1 draft pick. Got DJ Moore, got more picks, got these. I think it was a really, really great draft class for these guys. Yes. It just at least by assessing it, getting your needs. All right. Yes. I know they still could have got an edge. They didn't, but I like the fact they got a corner. I like the fact they got a couple of D linemen, linebackers, safety. I like it. I love it. I like it. Talk to me about the way you feel about DJ Moore and QB1 Justin Fields. They're looking, and everything we see, they look like they're gaining chemistry. They're gaining a sense of toward each other. How huge is that going to be if they do get this type of stuff with each other?
It's monumental. It's monumental. Synergy. I think that, what you're alluding to in terms of them being able to sync with one another. And that's what OTAs is all about, developing that chemistry, developing that timing, the ability to be able to communicate, be it verbally and then non-verbally. That's when and that you're at that next level when you can communicate non-verbally. And so we've seen past is prologue. I'm a firm believer in that. And we've seen this play out before with other teams and other players. We saw it with Josh Allen, who I compare probably Justin Fields' situation and going forward a little bit more so than I do Jalen Hurts' in terms of how the entire team was comprised when they began being the starter. And with Josh Allen, we saw coming out of college, inconsistency in terms of his passing. I think he was around maybe 60% might have been one of.
Hell, they wanted to run him out of town. They wanted to run him out of Buffalo.
Yeah, they weren't happy. But even coming out of college, he was not the quarterback statistically that Justin was, even effectively that Justin was coming out of college, coming from Wyoming, because a lot of his passes were big, long field. He's holding on to the ball, trying to make big plays. He's trying to carry a team on his back because Wyoming is, let's face it, Wyoming. But some of those bad habits, followed him into the pros. But on top of that, he did not have a primary receiver to really help him out. Once Stephon Diggs got there, all of a sudden, boom, now with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are, facing the Chiefs in a playoff situation where it goes into overtime. And the only reason why we think the Bills didn't win that game is because they didn't get an extra chance, So, and then going forward, we saw how good Buffalo was at the beginning of the year, So having that primary receiver, then with Jalen Hurts, another example, then a lot of people compare Justin, I think, when Jalen because of their physical attributes. But situationally speaking, Jalen became much more effective once they got A.J. Brown over. You already had Devonta Smith, but getting A.J. Brown, big difference maker. And so we've seen that where you get that number 1 receiver to help that younger quarterback, and you see that chemistry, as you alluded to, you've seen that synergy, as I say, that combination working together. And now we see it here in Chicago. Now we have in Chicago. So we have a true primary receiver, DJ Moore, a guy who put up 1,000-yard seasons, multiple ones over in Carolina. And Lord knows how many quarterbacks he had to deal with. That was just last year. Yeah, that was just last year. He had 3 or 4. Okay. Yeah, half of those last in just 1 year, So a guy who could be effective with that type of inconsistency. Now all of a sudden he's like, oh man, dude, I got a guy. He DJ Moore is like, I got a dude. I got a guy. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do this. And so you see it and you hear about it. DJ Moore gets here and Justin and he are going out to dinner. Justin's like, hey, I'm Justin Fields. Let's do this. And then we hear about it in OTAs. DJ Moore is putting double moves on people, making diving catches, making one-handed catches, making catches that make you go ooh and ah. And yeah, I know they're in shorts, and yeah, they're doing it against a defense that wasn't accomplished, but our secondary was still a pretty decent secondary last year, all things being said and done. But the point is, regardless, we're seeing connection, we're seeing communication. And last year, this time, we heard about a lot of balls hitting the ground. So we're not hearing that.
Yeah.
And DJ Moore, and we've said it before, and you and I have talked about it before, DJ Moore's presence makes everybody else become a better player, a better star in their role. Claypool, he had a little bit of an injury, so he missed, I think, some of OTAs the other day. Soft tissue, so he should be back, but it helps him become more settled in his role and who he is and what he needs to do to be effective as a number 2 potentially. It puts Mooney, once he's back, possibly in the slot or possibly, on the outside. He's a versatile. All these guys are versatile. They're interchangeable.
Yeah.
Tyler Scott, we're hearing about how well he's doing in OTAs. So now we have a guy here who's learning the slot because that's what his size dictates. That's where he'll probably be in the pros. But he was a border wide receiver out in Cincinnati. So he has that inside-outside skill set as well. But what it does is everyone else can be a star in their role because the primary guy, the lead dog, is DJ. And that's where the focus is going to be. But it allows everybody else to eat. So yeah, man, you should be excited about that. We should all be excited about that.
Yeah, I really like that room. I really like that wide receiver room. You got studs, and I said it before, and I'll say it, I'll reiterate it again, is that Ryan Poles has done what he's done is twofold. One, he's strengthened that wide receiver room, okay, with the with the addition of Scott, but he also ensures himself that if they, Darnell Mooney is up for a contract. Chase Claypool is up for a contract. So what he's done is like, okay, if we can't get both of these guys, or maybe if we only want one, all right, maybe we're only going to pay one. We'll let them let them fight it out with their statistics and things on the field, and we got their replacement here, and we're not asking him to get 800 yards and 6 touchdowns. All right, no, we'll ask for that next year. All right. Let him earn the offense. You can, give me a couple touchdowns here and there if you can. But next year, so he's insulated himself for the departure or for one of these guys. And I think that's just phenomenal. And he's not only done that with the wide receiver room, he's done that literally with the whole team.
Yes. At positions, as you just mentioned, where contracts are coming up. Jalen Johnson. Okay. We're talking the running back room. We're talking some guys maybe potentially on the offensive line. As you mentioned before, when you began your show, not everything was addressed. The edge position to be the most glaring position that wasn't addressed in the draft. And we still have some free agent money. And there's also free agents out there that we can possibly gather that we can utilize for this year or next year going forward. But also, too, because of what Poles was able to do next year going into the draft, you've got you literally have 2 first-round picks going in next year. And depending on where Carolina finishes, you might have a top 5 pick, a top 10 pick at the very least, I would imagine.
Oh, I'm thinking top 5, Papa.
I'm hoping top 5. But at least top 10, and you don't want 2 top 10s. That means we didn't do well, but at least 1 top 10 draft pick. And more than likely, it's either going to be a wide receiver that may be targeted because, like you said, maybe Claypool or Mooney doesn't work out because of either statistical or financial situations, economic situation, and or the edge rusher that we want to have long term might be there at pick. But I would imagine our 2 first picks next year addressing those 2 positions specifically. But it might be cornerback as well. Jalen Johnson, if he doesn't, in terms of his contract. But I think we'll be fine there. I think Jason will re-up here. I think we'll have a very solid secondary going forward. But to your point, I think what Poles did and has done is allow the Bears offense specifically to become and define themselves with an identity. We did not have an identity going into last year. We just didn't. We didn't know who or what we were. By the end of the year, we were a running team. We led the league in rushing. Okay. And what does that do? Well, that allows play action, baby. And you've got a big arm quarterback with speed receivers. Yeah, sometimes you got to hold the ball, let your receivers get open. But when you got guys who run 4.4 and under, you ain't got to hold it that long.
Right.
And if your running game allows just enough pause for the defense, so the opposing defense to just hesitate a moment, all it takes, man, and then boom, you're hitting 1 or 2 guys that may be going deep, or you're catching them on the move, on the run, and then they're taking it the rest of the way. So yeah, we should be very excited. There's a lot going forward that is not only something to enjoy now, but to build upon going forward. And again, I say past is prologue. You look at what Green Bay's offense was like, and that's what Luke Getsy comes from. You look at what I'm expecting the season to be something similar to what we saw when Lamar kind of came into his own. Yeah, I think it's maybe his second full season or whatever. His MVP season. I'm not saying Justin's going to be an MVP, but I'm talking about in terms of the offense overall being effective, where you've got big play action situation, and you have a team that's more or less a running team that thrives off this run. That we come off the bus running, and then everything extends from there.
Guys, we're joined by Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago, talking Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. I can't wait for them to run the ball. They upgraded the offensive line. Darnell Wright is a monster. We've discussed this. Just as I said that, the hair on my arms jumped up. Nasty Nate, are you worried about the fact that Nasty Nate isn't there?
Not at all. Not at all. Okay. If you were, a second year dude or something like that, like a first round pick that didn't work out somewhere and we got him here because of whatever. But no, he's a veteran. He's not the center, so I'm not worried about the timing per se, or in terms of adjusting to what you see in front of you and reading.
And he comes from an outside zone scheme anyway.
Exactly. So he's a veteran coming from a very similar type of scheme in terms of what the offensive line is asked to do. And he's an interior guy. He's not even, the left or the right tackle. So I'm not worried about that. And he will have a teammate in terms of a brother, in terms of the opposite side guard and Jenkins, who has a pretty much nasty, same mindset. I'm expecting the interior of our defense to be nasty as all get out. I really am. Like, I'm expecting these dudes to like straight pound people, go through people, and love to do that. And if this offense is in the offensive minds that design the plays and call the plays as it's going, if there's anything they should allow this offensive line to do, is to punch the out the other team in the face. Seriously, because that will get it all going. And I'm telling you, guys like Jenkins and Nate will love to, and even Cody Whitehair, because Cody Whitehair, although I think he should be our center, and that's just me. I'm not the coaching staff, but Cody Whitehair is a guard. And again, guards tend to be very nasty because they're in the interior. You can't get more interior than the guards, other than the center. So you're dealing with all that nastiness. I don't want, if I'm an offensive lineman, I don't want those guys pounding at me all the time. No, I'm going to give it something right back to them. And Jenkins has size. Nate Davis is proven to be nasty. Cody Whitehair is a veteran who's had some nastiness to him. You get that guy being that kind of like that vanguard for you going forward, that little triangle, of destruction, plowing ahead like a little plow going through defenses. And then you got two left tackles who are, not two left tackles, but two offensive tackles, outside tackles, who are very athletic and love to beat up on you too.
And can get out and move.
So now you got a moving pocket at either end when you want to, if you're going to, set up an outside pocket for Justin, a moving pocket for Justin, or just to get it going. So you got the run going, and teams have to honor that, and they have to be mindful. Hell, I want them to be fearful of the Bears on the move. And so, I get very excited because, hey, look, if you're a Chicago Bear fan, if you're as grizzled as you and I are, we know that it's Chicago football. It's all about the defense, and it's the running game. I mean, look, how many Hall of Famers do we have? And none of them are, I don't think any of them are wide receivers. Okay. So we're talking a lot of the guys in terms of they've been defensive linemen, interior linemen, but also our running backs. Gale Sayers, Walter Payton, Neil Anderson, who doesn't get the acclaim that he probably
definitely doesn't.
And Matt Forte is going to fall into the Neil Anderson, as years go by. People aren't going to remember or give Matt Forte his due as much as they should as well. But these are running backs we've seen, or at least we've seen video of in our lifetime, who now all of a sudden we've got a running back room that has that type of versatility. We have a quarterback that has that type of versatility. Yeah, dude, we should be very excited and get that offensive line going. Everything can stem from the running game going forward. And I think we can be as productive, if not more productive, as an offense in totality than what that Ravens offense was that year Lamar won the MVP.
I see this team as a San Francisco 49ers team back when Harbaugh was coaching, just with a lot more people on the outside. I think they're going to be able to run the ball a lot. And to me, if I see this, I don't know what I'll do. I might scream like a schoolgirl. If I see this,
I want to hear that, by the way. If it's good like a schoolgirl,
I want them to run 22 personnel. Okay.
Okay.
And you 22 personnel means only one. For those of you who don't know what that means, two running backs, two tight ends,
Right.
and one wide receiver. Well, the wide receiver that they're going to bring in is this dude. Is Gabe Hoy. He's going to check in his report as eligible.
Okay.
All right. He's going to be the tight end, and he's going to motion, and he's going to knock the ever loving shit out of the 3-tech or the defensive end. And Kari Blasingame is firing up behind him, and Roshan Johnson's firing up behind him. And that dude, because that dude is sick. He reminds me of Lattimore from the program, just as an offensive lineman. Okay. And so you get him with a head start.
Yeah.
I double dog dare you to see how you do, because he's gonna knock you. He's gonna create that hole. And when you do something like that, and then Kari Blasingame could just literally leak out into the flat, because we've seen it. That's one of the things he does.
Yeah.
Leak out in the flat, and now we're going something like that would I might just faint. You might have to just smack me and wake me up, because something like that for a guy who's played running back my whole life, that is something that's porn to me. Is just like I used to love to watch San Fran and Jim Harbaugh just have fun with stuff like that. So hopefully Getsy is as creative as that, and we'll have some fun. Speaking of that, let's talk about the running back room. All right, David Montgomery left. He's talking a little shit now. He's how good are you now that Khalil Herbert is right now is going to be RB1? Deontay Foreman says, "Hold on, player. I didn't come here to back nobody up." So now he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he had a great job last year when they sent Christian McCaffrey to Frisco. So he took over the number 1 role, and he had a great year. But then you also got Roshan Johnson, who, if he wasn't playing behind Bijan something or other, would have probably had 1,500 yards. Talk to me about this running back room, and combine that with the nastiness of Darnell White, who we've seen likes to road grade people, just take them off. Nasty Nate. We've already seen Tevin Jenkins they had to bring Tevin Jenkins out of the 3rd row. Like, bro, you can't push this guy into the stands. Off to the sideline, fine, but not into the stands.
Right.
With that type of mentality that permeates across the offensive line with this stable of running back, talk to me about how potent and effective you think this running back room is going to be.
I think you just did. I mean, yeah, all that and more. But keep in mind, our quarterback can run too.
Oh yeah, it's right. I forgot about that.
And he's and all those speed guys, those wide receivers I told you, who are like 4.4 and under, he might be faster than 1 or 2 of them, and he's our quarterback, or at least we know he's as fast. And keep in mind, those receivers I just talked about or alluded to. And we even talked about Bayless Jones, and I'm not saying that he's the end-all, be-all, but I'm talking about speed and effectiveness. All these wide receiver speed runs we can do, all these power sweeps we can do with the wide receivers. All these, so you get guys going one way, and then you bring it back the opposite way with a guy like Tyler Scott or Bayless Jones. Oh my God! I mean, it's so many different ways to get. And like you said, San Francisco. If they can do something similar to San Francisco, just take a little bit from Frisco, a little bit from what the Ravens have done, and apply that with Justin's skill set. But to go back to your question, the running back room. Again, what Poles has done is ensure competition amongst the running backs, so you can get the best of them, but also depth of the position that generally gets to beat up a little bit. But it doesn't have to be as beat up as it has been or traditionally has been, because now not one person is taking all that abuse. It's being disseminated across. No bell cow. It's being disseminated. It's being spread about. So these guys can stay fresher longer and be much more effective. And again, you set them up to knock them down. You set them up with these power backs. You got big backs. Roshan's big. Foreman's got size. Khalil's got size. All right. You got Ebner and Horner, who are more scat back type. But then you've got Bayless and you've got Tyler Scott. You got these guys who you can give a quick pitch to underneath. And now late in the game, when the defense has been bludgeoned by our offensive line and by our running backs, all of a sudden, man, they can't react quick enough for a speed guy getting to go in the opposite direction. Take a little bit from what Kansas City has done. You could take a little bit from everybody. I mean, everyone does. Why should we be any different in that regard? But apply it to the skill set that you have, apply it to the rosters that you have, to the players that you have. And that's where the coaching comes in. And that's why I feel better about where this team is going than I did under Nagy. Not the first year under Nagy, because we were still learning him. He was still learning his team. So you give that bit of latitude. But the subsequent years in the Nagy, we're like, this dude is trying to make everybody do what he wants them to do. He's not coaching to the talent he has. Last year, we saw specifically right after the Washington game, okay, this S is not going to work any longer. We got to do something different. This is what we're going to do. And that was coaching. And then you saw us take off, and you saw Justin be one of the most exciting players over the course of a month and a half's time. You saw the Bears team challenge teams that were playoff caliber team. You saw Justin be the best athlete on the field, and then you saw this team become the best running team in the NFL last year off a 3-14 team.
Isn't that amazing?
Team led the league in rushing. A 3-4. I'll say it once more again. If you didn't hear, understand what I'm saying. A 3-14 team led the league in rushing when everyone knew you couldn't do anything but run the goddamn ball.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? And you sit there and you think about it, and this is why when people say, well, and I know why people do it, it's just for conversation, but it's annoying because I'm a football guy. All right. Okay. And when they're like, well, we don't know if Justin can be a passer. Oh, we know Justin can be a passer. Look what he did at Ohio State. Look at the receivers he had at Ohio State. How many? Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, Garrett, okay, all first-round picks. Right. So look at the receivers he had last year. Yeah, not Miles, not Garrett, not Olave, and not Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, the wrong Brown, by the way, too.
Yeah, let's wait till he gets some guys. Oh, we got a DJ Moore. Excellent. Oh, we got a Tyler. The thing about all his highlights, all right, all his highlights, he's running away from somebody. All his highlights, he's wide open. Not even catching it and trying to this dude is gone. And it reminds me of the Packers for, I don't know, 4 or 6 years in a row. Every time we played Jordy Nelson, and that dude was wide open. And how the hell are you wide open? You play this guy twice a year, and he's still behind you. And I'm not saying Jordy was fast. I'm just saying he was always wide the freak open. And his highlights, Scott's highlights, are him wide open. His speed is scary to some, exciting to us. Right. All right. And from what I'm hearing at camp, Velus Jones ain't dropping a damn thing. And you're damn right he can't. You're damn right he can't. And imagine those two in a slot. And what Green Bay likes to do, they love those meshing cross pick routes, whatever you want to call them. Imagine those two picking. Imagine those two crossing.
I do.
All right. And you run them off the two guys up, the two outside receivers up, run the DBs off and catch one of those guys. One of those DBs tries to go over the top. Yeah, good luck catching Velus Jones or Tyler Scott. All right. Good luck chasing those jokers, man, because they got that purse snatching speed, and you might need a little scooter to catch those jokers.
And here's the thing we haven't really talked. A couple things we haven't really focused on or even brought up, and that's where Claypool and Kmet become so important.
Bingo,
because of their size and their ability to either sit in the zone in the middle of the field or be downfield blocking, and or when it comes to the red zone, being that red zone or that end zone target in terms of their height and their size, because everyone has to focus everyone else. They're going to be single covered. Claypool is not going to be double covered. Kmet is never going to be double covered. There's going to be a mismatch there just because of the focus that the other players are going to draw. And here's the other thing we don't talk about, and this is what Justin has to elevate to, and this is where his growth process and maturity comes into as not just a quarterback, but also a captain and administrator of the offense as is being executed. Your running backs, all of them have the ability to catch the ball at the backfield.
Yes, they do.
You've got to be able to, it's okay to check down now, Justin. Yep. You can check down because they can catch it, and they can catch it running and go somewhere with it. So when you get into that 10-yard, 15-yard, 20-yard, the red zone, or 10 yards and in, even more so, which becomes a little bit more difficult to score in, that's when you take a little bit from what the Philadelphia Eagles did with Jalen Hurts and go, okay, this is what we can do because we see your skill set and we think you're as good, if not more an athlete than Jalen. And we think that you can be as better, if not as good, if not better, a passer. It just comes to decision-making. And that's where the evolution comes in. But having that talent, having that blocking, having that line, having a lot of things that you just didn't freaking have at all before gives you a moment or two to think and process. And all those people, all those naysayers, all those dissenters, all those negative, MFs and what have you about Justin not being able to pass, because those are people who can only see what's before them. They can't see the larger picture. They don't understand things. They're looking for reasons to be negative, which, let's face it, most people usually are. But if you're objective, if you're able to see what is in front of you, if you're able to see and understand where a person has come from and what their mindset is, and have a bit more of an objective attitude about what that person is and what they bring to the table, you can tell from everything that Justin's teammates, be it from the Ohio State teammates he had, coaches, to the coaches at Hallis Hall, to the players who are his teammates now, they're all saying what a leader he is. That dude is not so much the first one in, but he's always the last one out. I was just listening to Tyler Scott on I can't remember the brother, the dude from in the NFL Network.
Adam Rank.
Yes, thank you, Adam Rank. Listen to his podcast, and Tyler Scott was saying, like, dude, like, Justin is always the last person out. Like, I came in and the rookies have to stay late because of XYZ. We're staying late. And then when I leave, his car is still in the parking lot. I'm like, well, then you should be with him in wherever room he's at. Finding out bending his ear.
You walking out together.
right, walking out together, right. But what he also said was that Justin is, when he first got drafted, Justin reached out to him. He's like, oh, is it really Justin? Oh, yeah, it has a blue ring around it. Yeah, that's Justin. It's the real Justin. And then Justin, when he gets there, Justin's like, hey, I'm Justin Fields. He knows who he is, but he introduces himself to him. But he says, Justin's talking to me about nutrition. Come on, man. Your quarterback's coming to you, a rookie, talk about nutrition. That means he wants you around. That means he's thinking about you, and not just how you can be a better player, but how you can be a better you. How you can take care of yourself, and how the education he has, he's sharing with you already. That's what you want. That is a face of the franchise. That is a person you build around. And that's why I never for once ever thought that the Bears are going to trade Justin Fields, no matter what quarterback was coming out. Just never. I didn't believe it, because there's so many things we don't see. But you have to, if you can see, if you can read in between the lines, if you can see what's going on without necessarily hearing what's going on, and use your eyes and your mind collectively, and understand, like, okay, what am I really seeing here? Who is this person? What has this person been? And I always go, when people talk to me about Justin, I say, look, man, not just go back to Ohio State, go back to the night he was drafted. Go back to the night he was drafted. What was his draft room like? It was him, his mom, his dad, his sister, I think like a grandparent or an elder, and like probably an agent, whoever the hell was holding the damn camera. That was it. That was it. And he was a first-round pick, obviously 11th pick overall, I believe. But the room wasn't full of a whole bunch of people. Because to me, that said, this is a strong family unit. They're keeping it close. The money's going to stay in the family. They got the CEO already in place. And mom and dad aren't going to be so much, intrusive, as it's everything's going to be involved. And it's going to be a business going forward. And they were like, man, Chicago is a great place for us. That's the first thing his parents said. Like, Chicago? I'm not mad. No, of course not. It's Chicago. Whether it works out or not for you, it's you being the quarterback for the Bears, the time you're here, connections, things you can do, where you can elevate yourself. So my point is, this young man is more about the overall big picture than about the little things that the dissenters talk about. And just give it a little bit of time, and you'll see what we saw. And to your point, when you said the San Francisco 49ers during Harbaugh, what did that team do under Harbaugh? 3 straight conference championship appearances and Super Bowl appearances. I don't think we'd be upset if we see that here in Chicago.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But the one thing about Justin that I love, and this is the issue I have with my White Sox, is Justin wants to be great. Yeah, baby, Southside. I love my White Sox, man, and this is why I've gotten on Yo Moncada, Eloy Jimenez, and Lubab. Like, you don't have that desire to be the best because they're uberly talented, but when you have that talent and you combine that with a relentless work ethic to be the best, you'll see it. I think it just seems to me that they're trying to get by with their talent, which they can. They'll just be middle of the road players, fine, but you're not maximizing your potential. Justin is maximizing his potential, and you can tell by the way he talks. You can tell by the way, not even about what he says, what his teammates and his coaches say. That's how you know that this kid has this insatiable desire to be the best. Part of it is he wants to show he's better than Trevor Lawrence because they've been going at it since high school. All right. A part of it is like, I should be the number 1 overall pick. I should, internally, he's not going to say that out to anyone except his small circle. Right. But I love it. And you can see it from like you said, reaching out on Twitter to his boy, calling him, say, hey, you're welcoming him to the team, talking about different things. This guy has this insatiable urge. I need you to be at your best so I can be your best. I need you to be at your best so I can be at my best. I need you. I mean, you talk about the whole thing. It might have been orchestrated by the Bears, but when DJ Moore got to town, all right, they went out to dinner. They went to the Bulls game. they're all out there. Those are things you do to welcome as a leader of this team or as a leader of a team. Those are the things you do. And that's the things he's done. And that's why it's got me, dude, my legs, I just got the goosebumps. My arm got the goosebumps. Dude, just because I've seen championship teams. I played on championship teams. I've coached championship teams. And you all have a leader, an undeniable, unquestionable leader. And that's Justin Fields and this team. And that's why I'm so fired up for it. Real quick, before we let you go, talk about the defense a little bit. All right. They drafted a couple cornerbacks. All right. Yeah. They got the kid out of Tyreek Stevenson, the kid out of Miami, but they also got Terrell Smith, kid out of Minnesota. All right. Talk to me about that. And, Jalen Johnson's coming up. It's coming up a contract year. He wasn't there for a little bit. Talk to me about that. Don't forget, they also got Williamson, the safety. So talk to me about what the secondary and how much depth they got in addition to youth.
Oh, man, dude. They're not the Legion of Boom. They're not going to say that they have that potential per se, because that would be putting way too much on them. But they have the potential to be their own nickname, be very special. No flight zone, something like that. Midway control, whatever you want to call it. Because they're, especially the guys they got, and Stevenson and Smith are long, athletic receivers. Both physical receivers, both can make plays on the ball, both can pass, defend the ball, but also can pick it off. And you're talking about the talent that's already here. Jalen Johnson, again, he's in a contract year, something to prove. I'm not worried about him not being at OTAs. There's personal stuff he was dealing with, and the team is all cool with that. And I have no issue with that whatsoever. Plus, I know Jalen wants to be here, and Jalen's got something to prove. He wants to prove he's a top 5 cornerback in the league. Okay, well, you need to go out and prove it. You can say it, but you got to go out and prove it. I can say I want to bowl 300 because I'm a bowler, but I need to go out and do it. So that's what he has to do. But I love the ability that they have to either play man or zone, and they're going to be very, very physical. And here's the thing, man. I'll say this real quick. Maybe not quick. For me, it's quick, but for everyone else, it may take a while. But the point being, Eberflus, when he was with the Colts as a defensive coordinator, part of their success was their ability to apply pressure. All the pressures they created. I think they generated on average about 115 to 120 pressures the years he was there as a DC. And what they did was they had no season where I think the lowest season of interceptions was maybe 15, or it might have been 14. But his last year there, they had 19 picks. Okay. Last year, I know Eberflus wasn't our defensive coordinator, but basically it's his defense. Last year, the Bears, pathetic in terms of sacks. I don't worry about sacks as much, but it was pretty pathetic. Just 20 sacks in the season. But what was worse to me was they had less than 100 pressures. They had 86 pressures as a defense. That is god awful pathetic. But they still have 14 interceptions. So now we have a defense. The defensive line is being restructured, but we know we've got some young dudes that can push it forward. And Jervon Dexter and Zach Pickens. These guys can get that surge up the middle. They may not come around the edge, but they get that surge up the middle. Dexter, long limb, athletic dude. What does that mean? Deflections, arms up, vision being impaired. We got 3 linebackers, well, 2 linebackers that we just got through free agency who are athletic linebackers who can drop into coverage. And Edmonds is going to be very similar to what we saw Urlacher do when he was here, because it's a similar type of defense. Yeah. That's drop back deep, long limb, athletic defender. That means deflections. We see what Brisker can do. We've seen what our own ball hawk can do in terms of our free safety. We've seen what he's been able to do.
Bojack,
Yeah, and then we've also seen what Gordon can do, and he was just trying to figure out where the hell be on the field between being a slot or being a border. Now he can focus on being a slot. So a lot of deflections is my point. A lot of opportunities because of pressure, not because of the sacks, but you're getting that pressure, and that pressure is going to make you throw early, make you throw over extended arms, make you try to drop a ball in between linebackers, and that you can't do that all the time for the whole length of the field. If you look back to the Lovie Smith era, that was how the Bears were extremely successful. It wasn't because of all these sacks they got. It was the pressures and the turnovers they got. You go back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their heyday with Brooks, and Rondé Barber and those guys, and Warren Sapp, that pressure, deflections, interceptions, linebacker interceptions. Rondé Barber should probably be in the Hall of Fame. I think he should go in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the top interceptors in the last 20, 25 years in terms of that at that position. I think these guys have the ability to do that. I know they have the talent to do that. And I think we'll see that execution happen. And the secondary will be the benefactors of that. And the team as a whole will be, because now you'll get chances to change field position, whether you pick the ball off and return it for a TD or pick it off and get some field position. Also, too, it gives Justin an opportunity. If he makes a mistake, they can get the ball back. Okay, let's rectify this. We got your back, brother. Let's go and go forward. So I'm extremely ecstatic. And on that, the OTAs, we've been hearing that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been tipping the ball. They've been picking the balls off. They've been tipping the passes. So yeah, man, like I said, pass is prologue. You can look to the examples I gave you and the type of defenses in the past that have done this. This is a similar defense that we're in. Look at the athleticism before us. And you may not see it week one, or you may. Oh, my bad. Real quick. Look at our schedule. I'm not saying we're going to, be 12-5, but you look at our schedule, look at the quarterbacks we're facing. Outside of the guys from the AFC West, we're facing either second-year quarterbacks or quarterbacks that have never really had 16 starts under their belt, and a lot of piss-poor quarterbacks. Look at the the NFC South. That's what we're facing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're looking at Washington quarterback Sam Howell. He hasn't played 16 games yet. We're looking at Arizona. Who the hell knows who's going to be their quarterback? And also we're looking at the quarterbacks in the division who have been mistake prone in their past. So yeah, man, I'm looking at that. And I'll say this right now on the record. I believe Tyreek Stevenson has the chance to be the NFC, if not the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Wow. Well, he's you took the words right out of my mouth. I love the fact that I used to put it this way. Our secondary became our strength at the end of the season last year. Once Kyler Gordon got his footing underneath him and they left him in the slot, and they had picks, they had pass breakups, all right, passes defended. You love all that. And this was with no pass rush. This might have been a negative pass rush, okay?
Negative pass rush.
And so now any improvement in that area means that ball's coming out a half second to a second sooner than it needs to come out. And if they were able to perform to that level last year without a pass rush, imagine what they can do with a pass rush. And that's what's getting me excited, because like you said, either it's house call or it's you flip the field. Now you got short fields for Justin Fields, no pun intended. And now you got Chase. Go out, you're 6'4" with a 37, 38-inch vert. Go up and get it. DJ Moore, Bayless Jones, you and Scott are going to cross and see if they can catch you, get to the corner of the ends, and beat them to the pylon, and watch them run. Or we can just hand it off and just shove it down their throat, and they really can't stop it. So that's going to be
Justin, you keep the ball.
Yeah, let everybody get downfield.
Just go down.
1001, 1002, 1003. Yeah. Okay, I can go, and then you just run it in for the touchdown. Whatever you feel like. It's gonna lead to a whole bunch of short fields, which hopefully leads to a lot more tutties and not field goals, and which leads us to a division. So again, I'm fired up. I love what this is done. And again, we haven't completed it yet, but I think we're pretty darn close. I think next year, after that first round, I said if they do what Houston did last year or this year, so they say they get, because the next year is a deep draft in edge rushers. Yes, so if you get me two edge rushers. All right, you trade back wherever Carolina's pick is. Say it's 3, you get an edge rusher, then you trade back up to 4 or 5 or 6 and get another edge rusher. I'm happy as a top. Or if you get Marvin Harrison Jr. with your first pick and then trade back up, with Carolina's pick because it's going to be bad, then trade back up with our pick and get an edge rusher, I'll be happier than a pig and slop. They are set up perfectly to get exactly what they need, to have exactly the team they want, and they're going to be just about all of their studs will be young, will be on their first year contract, and that's how you win Super Bowls. The Seahawks were great, the last one of the last teams to do it that way, because they were what was it, his third year, fourth year, Mahomes. So he was still under his rookie contract, and you have
second
that
year from Mahomes, yeah.
So
third year, right?
Because remember he sat out
as a starter, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
third year.
He didn't play for that whole. Alex Smith was the dude. So yeah, this team, you watch it, and this is why when people who don't, when they say, "Oh, the Bears aren't going to be good," or the Bears this and like, then you obviously don't know sports, and I can't rock with you like that, because you're just and that's. I played football enough. I lost enough brain cells. I don't need to lose any more talking to people like that. Hey, Glenn. Great stuff, man. I appreciate it as always. Do me a favor though, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online and see you on TV.
Oh yeah, NBC Sports Chicago, Football Night in Chicago. From time to time, I'm making appearances there. Also, too, podcast Easy Smoking the GM podcast. You can catch us there, any and all platforms. And whenever you have me here, That's awesome. And as far as different social media as well, and at True Glenn on Twitter, at True Glenn Morgan, on Twitter. So yeah, man, just hey, as I say from time to time, I tell my girls, hey, Daddy's Googleable now. You can just Google my name and see where I'm at. It's pretty cool.
That's crazy. That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. Hey, Glenn, great stuff, Papa. I appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch soon.
Man, appreciate you. Peace.
Thank you. Guys, that's Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago. Me and him could have talked. This whole 3-hour show could have been me and Glenn just talking Bears. But great stuff, and I truly appreciate his time and his insight. Great insight, which is why I love having him on. Check him out, Football Night in Chicago. They have some busters on there. You get some contrarians, some Chicken Little's the sky's falling, and Justin Fields, we don't know. He's not that good. And, we don't have an edge rusher, so we're not going to be a good defense. Idiots on there as well. No. All right. Check out when he's on there. All right. Check out when he's on there, when Ken's on there. All right. Some of these other jamokes. And part of it is I don't think they played football. So when you look at it from a non-football player perspective, a non-coach perspective, you can still be intelligent about it, but there's certain things you just won't get. Okay? There's a certain perspective that you'll probably have, which isn't always the right one. Most times isn't the right one. From a fan's perspective, yeah. And they're coming at you from a fan's perspective. So most of the time it'll be difficult to get a great perspective when you haven't played it or coached it. I'm saying you can't, just saying many times, oftentimes. All right. I digress. Great stuff from Glenn, man. I really, really appreciate it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. All right. On the other side of the break, we're going to wrap this baby up with a nice, pretty bow. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators. A passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds. Help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Goff off the play fake. In trouble. Goff is down. Jack Sanborn. And now on third down, Fields will yank it, and there's room to run for Fields.
Oh,
Fields,
baby.
turn it on the speed. Fields on the angle, trying to outrace Okuda, and he'll beat him to the goal line for the 3rd and 8. Goff, quick toss at the 30, trying to turn upfield. Khalif Raymond will not get the first down.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of Fox. God, I got the hair on my arm standing up yet again. Those are good guys, baby. Those were the good guys. I want to wrap it up today talking about something in play. We mentioned it earlier. A time for Hail Mary. You know, an article today in the Chicago Sun-Times, you know, I get my, and Lawrence Holmes has a great article today. All right. Not your Papa Bears, your Papa's Bears. And he goes in depth and he talks about, and I like this. And I reported the other day that the Bears have said that Arlington Heights isn't their sole focus anymore. They're looking at other places. They've talked to Naperville, and now the city of Chicago is back in play. Hail Mary. There's still a chance that they can have a spot here in Chicago. Now, where it would be, that is the question. So there are some places, like you have to, there are some places that could really, really work. Okay. One of the places is just south, right around 31st-ish. Okay. The old, where the Olympic Village was. I think someone mentioned it in here, if I'm not mistaken. The old Olympic Village. They're gonna be off of 31st. It was a hospital. Yeah, Cornelius, you mentioned it. Yeah. Olympic site still hasn't been developed, so they could build there. Yeah. And you're easy on, easy off to the expressway. Okay, if you want to go east, and if you want to go west, you're not too far from the Ryan. Okay. You could build it, and it's in Bronzeville, so you talk about an up-and-coming area. Imagine what that's going to do to the property values in Bronzeville. You can get to Soldier Field easily, get away from Soldier Field easily, okay? Then you can have the sports book, the restaurants, the entertainment center, the museum, all that stuff, all accessible by public transportation and via expressway. Right out, get so close. Obviously, the Friends of the Park are going to have an issue with some of this shit, but there's another opportunity. This would be, see, Kevin Warren's the kind of guy that this is a dude you wanted. All right, they came out and unequivocally in that press release to NBC Sports Chicago, and they said it. All right, they're negotiating now. Like now that's not our own focus. Hey, we can develop this. We can develop this land, because what if the Bears decide they want to build some condos or townhomes or, you know, a community, a living community? You could do it, you know, and have one end be a little more commercial, or have a community where, you know what, you have your Marianos or whatever. There's a whole bunch. What the hell? There's a dude going down my side street at least by about 50 miles an hour. there's a lot more idiots over here than reminding me of the city, but I digress. So Arlington Heights isn't a done deal, or is it? And they're just trying to they're posturing. I like the fact that they are taking a meeting with the mayor. Now, some people are going to say, well, wait a minute, why is the mayor taking a meeting with the Bears when he just got on the job and there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be addressed in this city? Well, you have to be a multitasker. Okay, you have to be a multitasker. All right, what a stadium would provide here is jobs. A lot of them. A lot of jobs. Do you understand how many jobs it'll take to get that thing done? How many jobs it'll create to get that stadium built if it's built in the city? Then, how many jobs will it create for events, for the museum, for the sports book, for the hotels, for the everything that goes along with that? And because it's most likely going to be a dome stadium, guess what? That's more jobs year round. Year round. So you're going to have concerts. So you know the Swifties that took over downtown Chicago this past weekend for Taylor Swift, you can have concerts there. All right, we talked about the Big Ten championship game. Indianapolis is nice. I like Naptown, but it ain't Chicago. Damn sure ain't Chicago. Hell, the Big Ten headquarters is in Chicago, so why not have the Big Ten championship game here in Chicago? We have the infrastructure. We have everything. So there's so many different things. And I like the way they're, as Lawrence put it, they were run like a mom and pop shop. Not anymore. Not anymore. Kevin Warren is very shrewd. He's experienced. And even if they do end up building on Arlington Heights, this is just leverage, negotiating tactics. Like, hey, we got to go with the best deal. Because imagine if they get a deal in the stadium. How happy would fans be? How happy would Chicago fans be if it's on the lakefront? How happy would you be? You know, because then don't forget, you have to build, the transportation has to be adequate. All right, because they're going to be 20,000 cars. 15 to 20. All right, you got the parking. I mean, yeah, you could use the south lot. That'll be the north lot. You know, you could have shuttles going back and forth to the other lots. But, you know, what they're going to want, the Bears are going to want their own parking lots. They're going to want the revenue from that. So I like it. I hope it's possible. I shouldn't say it is possible. I hope it comes to fruition more than anything. I hope it comes to fruition. And if it's in Arlington Heights, fine. We'll go to Arlington Heights and we'll bitch and moan about it the whole train ride or car ride there and enjoy it when we get there, because it'll be the top of the line stadium. But it does create a lot. It does help the jobs. Just think of, like I said, all the jobs it creates. If you're close to the area, some of the underserved communities, because you're right down from Inglewood and Rose. Ooh, now people can go. They get jobs at the casino, jobs at the hotel, jobs at the restaurants, jobs at the stadium. It's creating jobs. It's creating a way of life for some people. And, you know, we've talked about that in the underserved communities. Like, well, they need jobs. They need employment opportunities. Well, here you go. And they're not going to only provide jobs to those in the underserved, but there'll be a good amount. There'll be a good amount. So if Cornelius, I'd love for the Bears to stay in Chicago, but I don't blame if someone offers a better deal. I agree. They're trying to increase the value of their franchise. And why wouldn't you? All right. Why wouldn't you? Okay. Just from a business perspective, you have to do that. So I am open to see. Like if you saw the thing for Soldier Field, remember where they had the big, the rendering from Mayor Lightfoot at the time. Like that couldn't work because you had to keep Soldier Field. Soldier Field is the smallest, and they try to build out and make it enclosed. You'd have to tear Soldier Field down and rebuild it, and then have the transit and everything coming to it. But again, the Bears don't own it. The Park District does. Will the Park District sell it? Friends of the Park, are they going to okay all that stuff? I don't know. Just so much. Welcome to the world of politics. If you don't know anything about Chicago, you better know that politics is king. It doesn't matter who you are. Politics is a very important part of the city, and it's in more ways than we believe. So, well, listen, that was a phenomenal show. Man, I can't believe 3 hours has come and gone. I want to thank my guests for coming on. Eugene McIntosh from the Bigs coming on talking NBA Finals tonight. Make sure you check that out, 7:30 Central. All right, ABC. So whatever ABC is in here in Chicago is Channel 7. So whatever ABC is where you're located, it's going to be on 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 Eastern. Game 3. Who's got the I forgot the stat, how many times the winner of Game 3 will go on to win the series. So we'll see. Miami is at home. They took a split, got the home court advantage. Can they defend home court? We're going to find out. Then 10 o'clock, or 11 o'clock, we have my man Glenn Morgan on from NBC Sports Chicago. And you saw that conversation. That conversation could be pretty much, that's dope. That is dope. Man. Well, listen. Guys, you have a wonderful day. And listen, the weather here, if you're in the Chicagoland area, the weather's going to be nice the next few days. Weather's going to be very nice the next few days. We got 75 today, 74 tomorrow, then 80, 82 on Friday, 85 on Saturday, 72 on Sunday. We have some nice weather coming our way. So make sure you take advantage of it, enjoy it, spend time with your loved ones. Okay. And include Sports Zone Chicago on your daily itinerary on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All right. Shawn and Maya in the morning. All right. Second City Sports on Mondays and Fridays. Saturdays, 11 to 1, the Smoke Fellas. And Monday. Just got we're waiting for the confirmation for Monday's show for What's Up Cuz. It's going to be a good one. Chicago legend. Chicago basketball legend who didn't make it big time, but he had a series of events that derailed his dreams. But so that's all I can tell you for Monday until we get the final confirmation that he's in. All right. So make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We appreciate the love. So we're going to take a 45-hour break, and on the other side of the break, we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel on Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. So for my guy Steve getting all my clips together, to Elliot Baez, our executive producer, to Clarence Council III, our social media guy, and to my co-host in absentia, Maya. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guys, you have a wonderful, wonderful day. You know what? I'm getting a little hungry. So I'm about to go get something to eat because your boy is hungry. Guys, have a great day. We will see you on Friday, baby. It's going to be the weekend, baby. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, folks. I'm out.